Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What they do? Welcome to another episode of the Salute Podcast. I am your boy, retired Chief Master Sergeant Pat Wilcox, aka the Hip Hop Chief, aka Conscious Rhyme of the group Purgatory. The Salute Podcast is always in the service of dreamers, and we showcase the talents of all current and prior military members and the elements of hip hop. So, if you can rap, also dress fresh, and you served your country, salute is for you. So, got a good show today. I have good ones on all the time, man. But this is a good one, man. I'm gonna give this man an illustrious introduction here in a minute. I'm gonna run through the sponsors, and then we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna get it cracking right ahead. You know what I mean? And get it going. So let me shout out the sponsors right now. All right. First sponsor up, Plugs Earbuds. Go get the Plugs Earbuds at www.gettheplugs.com. And if you to get a 10% discount, enter the code DFPN10, and you get a 10% discount on the headphones, on the earplugs. Audio Swim at audioswim.com. And Premier Element UAE at www.premierelement.com. As always, I shout out my man Shorty Pimp. I shout out my man Shorty Pimp on here. My man Shorty Pimp, Dade County 305 all day. You doing your thing. We appreciate you sponsoring the show, bro. Next up, Patreon. Join the DFPN Patreon at patreon.com/thatfeelingpodcast. For only $3, you can get all of these podcasts advertisement free, man. I mean, you can't beat that. So yeah, if you don't want to hear me yammering on, you know what I'm saying, forever and ever, you want to hear Black jump in and do her without him jumping in, throwing some commercials in here and there, then that's it right there. You go in there $3. Last up is my favorite topic. It's the merch. Yeah, I love the merch. Got my name on it, got my stuff on it. I love the merch. There it is right there. You can't see it. There it is. There's the back. There it is. If you ain't got it, go get it. You can go get it at www.teesprings.com and search for That Feeling Podcast and get all the great merch from all of our podcasts that we have on the network, which is a whole bunch of them, and we add some new ones every day. So now that that's all said and done, we got our sponsors out the way. Let me get into my man. So we gotta tell stories, as I always do. I always try to tell some stories about how things go. So I'm at the Pentagon. You know what I mean? I think I got a call from you, right? You want to come up and get a tour of the Pentagon. I was like, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? All right, bet. I don't think we was friends on Facebook yet. I think we just, kind of touching here, and I don't think it was like that. But he was like, yo, I want to do a tour of the Pentagon. I said, all right, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? No, I think it was somebody retirement. I think it was
Chief Wild.
It was Chief Wild's retirement.
Yeah.
That's what it was. You came up, and you was like, yo, while I'm up here, man, you mind showing us around and whatever. So we kind of, chopped it up a little bit, and I took him around the Pentagon. I was up there doing my thing at the time. I took him by the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force's the So I'm thinking, the cat in there, I got a big old story. I don't know if I ever told that story, but it's too long for this here. But how I met the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, how you were cool. You know what I mean? I really appreciate that conversation me and him had. And he took me up right then. I got a picture of the coin and everything right then. So I was hoping he was going to be there so I could, get him in there to do the exact same thing. Got in there, he wasn't in there, but he still got some pictures in there. Man, the dude behind, he behind the desk. He like, get behind the desk. He taking the pictures behind the desk, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, I see you. But the cool thing about the whole thing was, unbeknownst to me, and we just talked about it before the show started, that I was stationed up at Minot. I was an IMA up there. I was the fire chief at Minot. And the fire chief that was up there, what's his last name? Russ.
Ida Shink.
Yeah.
His first name, yeah.
Ida Shink. I always mess him up. Russ Ida Shink. So he was telling me, because I told him I did music, and I was telling him, he's like, yeah, man, I know another fireman that rap too, man. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Who? It's another one out there. So just to be honest with you, he's one of the reasons why I started this show. He's one of the people that's out there that's all about this music that you don't know, that's out there that do hip hop. When I learned that, I was like, it's another fireman, another dude that do hip hop too, not knowing that all the years later, I would meet him at Andrews Air. He was the deputy fire chief at Andrews Air Force Base at the time. I did not know I was going to meet him, and then strike up a conversation, start talking about things, and this the guy. No, you know what? I take it back. You know what? You know when I really met you? I know what it was. It was at the party at Hawk House. That's what it was. It was at Hawk House. That's when I kind of found out about it. Like, you rap too. It was all good. That's when I first met you. You stretch all that. That was a good night. Oh, we had some fun.
Yeah, so we had that night, and then you came up to the station too. So I went up there to the Pentagon, and then you came by the station and had a chat with my guys at the station and gave them some nice little nuggets. And I never forget that. I appreciate that. I mean, because we got a chance to chop it up, and we got a chance to talk to music, but obviously, we got the military aspect too that we do. And so for you to connect with me on the music level, and I remember I got you gave me some of the links so I could check out your stuff, but then you came back and actually had to sit down with my guys, man, and talk to the team about Air Force stuff. And that was love. I appreciated that. Absolutely.
Hey, man, it was my pleasure, man. I had a good time. So the funny thing that the chief now is the Air Force Air Force Fire Chief. So it's funny how stuff works, huh? How stuff come full circle. You know what I'm saying? All that interconnection up there there's a lot going on. But yeah, man, I mean, it was. I mean, just from that time on, I've been watching this man. I've been watching him do his thing, and I'm just like, man. I was like, and I've been every time a chief list came out, I was looking for this man name. I look at everybody else who I knew was gonna make it. Daniel made it. All these cats. I saw who was making it, and I was like, where my man go? I kept looking. I was like, where my man gonna make chief? I'm like, what's up? So lo and behold, my man make chief. I was like, oh, that's what I'm talking about, man. I could not have. Oh my God, I was so happy. Everybody who I knew and I was looking for to make chief, they all made chief. Every single one of them, man. So congratulations, huh?
A long road. It was
long road, man. I know, man. So congratulations to you, man. I said it to you a bunch of times. I shoot you stuff, on the messenger. I say whatever, But I'm just proud of you. I'm happy for you, man. I think they could not have promoted a better dude.
Thank you,
I know I'm looking at the career field manager right here. I'm saying it. Somebody might want to hear that. Look at me. I'm saying it.
We'll see, man.
Field manager right there. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so thankful, man, that I actually got selected, man. So I'm thankful. As you know, man, it's not easy. You don't do it by yourself. So there's a lot of folks that supported me, that was in my corner, and I just appreciate it, man. I'm on cloud nine. But I do want to say thanks to you too, man, because you've been a huge supporter, and it hasn't even just been about the music. It's been anything, man. Anything that's been going on, whether it's been positive. I got the situation going on right now with my mom being ill. You're constantly there, man, to plant those seeds and to support and be positive, man. So you one of those voices, and I know I don't speak for just myself. I'm certain you're doing this for a whole bunch of other folks out there, man. But thank you for being you, and thank you for being a huge support and an example for a lot of people out there.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. Like I said, it's not a lot of dudes that get to the 1% of the Air Force. I know people say it, but it is. I'm telling you. I mean, you are the first, other than myself, the first chief to have on. You the second fire guy. You the second Chi-Town dude. You know what I'm saying? But the first chief to be on this show, other than me. So that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. I know, we just in the infancy of this podcast. I know we're gonna look back later on. I'm gonna have you on again when I'm, when something really popping, when I'm, something going on. You're like, oh, I see, but I just appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate you showing me, this love, man. Because like I said, I try to give love back to everybody. And you definitely one of them ones that I'm looking at, I'm watching, I see what they got going on, man. But yeah, man, I just wanted to give that illustrious intro and say, thank you for all the stuff you've been doing with the firemen and just the Air Force in general, and just keep doing your thing. So I'm gonna get out of this show. Like I said, this show is not about me. It's about the vets that do hip hop and just spit, give a little knowledge about the military. And I do a lot of things on this show to try to help other people that's out there that's going through the same thing, that's maybe doing music and they're in the military. They don't know what they want to do. They're not sure if they want to stay in, get out, whatever their aspirations are. I'm showing guys there's avenues that you can go, whatever that avenue might be. You don't know. You tune in here to the Salute podcast. We chop it up, and you can hear some stuff with some dudes who have been there, who have done it, and in some cases still doing it, as with the chief here. So I'm gonna get out your way. In the beginning, what I like to do for guys, talk a little bit about yourself, where you've been stationed at, we don't went into your you know what your AFSC is, but you can elaborate on that if you want to. Just you know some of the places you can serve that and so on and so forth, man.
Yeah, man. So I'm as you already mentioned, I'm from Chicago, so that's where I grew up, born and raised on the west side of the city. Um, I'm from the Austin district, so for those familiar with it, I grew up on Haddon Street, right off of Division and Central. I'm about maybe Division Street. What's on Division Street? So you got Cabrini Greens, probably about 30 minutes up the road. You got on the west side, you got the Bulls Stadium is on the west side. It's a lot of stuff on the Madison Street. There's a lot of stuff on the west side, man. You got the Braddis from the west side, you know, Saba, Lupe Fiasco, you know. So those are the kind of artists that came from that neighborhood. But my mom moved us to different parts of the city at different times. But the west side has always been base camp, man. So I'm a husband, father to two beautiful human beings. I'm a granddad now, which means I'm old, man.
I know that world.
What else about me? I love cigars. You know, I've been smoking cigars more and more lately. I try to get one in on the weekends as I can, and of course traveling and music, man. I wouldn't be on the podcast if it wasn't for the music. But that's pretty much it, man, about me. Why I came in, why I chose to serve, man. I'll be honest, man. So being in Chicago, man, coming up, when you grow up and you come from a big city too, you know, but when you growing up in the city, you face the things that you face in cities. It has all of the crime. You got the good stuff going on there. You got the bad. You got the ugly. But when you coming up as a kid, man, you just a kid growing up. You know, we don't know what to compare it to because that's all we know. You know, so whether you see a guy walking down the street and he's stumbling, he high off of some sherm stick or something, falling in the bushes, you don't know. You just look at him and laughing at him like, look at this clown. You know, you don't know. But then sitting in front of the TV and you know, you're getting a chance to see things like the Eiffel Tower. You know, you're getting a chance to see Buckingham Palace and all of these great places that's out there. And you know, you in the hood and you don't have a chance to see those things. You're like, man, one of these days I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able to get after that. And for me, man, it was about trying to get out there and travel and see things and see the world and be a part of something that was bigger than myself. So I went to school, man, to Northern Illinois University for 2 years after I graduated from high school. And of course, you know, I didn't have no scholarships or anything like that. And my family didn't have a lot of money. So I was paying out of pocket, taking out loans. Yeah. And eventually I got to the point, man, I had a kid. So I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I need to figure this thing out, man. I can't be staying in my grandma's house, you know, trying to figure this life thing out. So I was like, you know, let me go talk to this recruiter. So I went down the street on the lunch break one time and talked to a military recruiter at the federal building. And the military guy, he was a brother and he was a cop, you know, so security forces, big muscle bound dude. And he told it to me straight, man. A lot of folks talk about their recruiters lying to him. This dude told me everything I was going to face. Like looking back, he told me everything I was going to face. And I appreciated that. And so I came in and joined the military, man. And my goals really, man, was to get a degree, you know, to be able to travel, see the world, man, and to be able to just be a part of something bigger than myself and have some kind of means to kind of help my family out, you know. And I'm going to tell you, man, 25 years later, all of those things have come to pass, man. So I've seen the world. My 9th assignment is I'm on that now. Got the degree out the way, working on the master's. Got a couple of associates, and you know I'm still a part of something that's bigger than myself. And like you said, like this platform here, you know, like you said, it ain't about you. You want to do something to put other people out there and make sure that their experiences are shared, and that's what it's about. You know, one of these days I'm gonna be done with the military, but hopefully I'll have been able to help others like people help me, and of course money that I make, man. You know, we ain't rich, but I have been able to do some things for my family, my nephews, my nieces, my cousins. You know, it's been a blessing, bro. But 9th assignment, I started out at Scott Air Base. Second base was Yokota, Japan. And then I did a
And
stint
who was the chief at Scott when you was there?
at Scott. Oh, man, I cannot remember his name. Man, that was my first base. I was there a year and like 3 months. And man, tall guy. I cannot remember his name to
What's
say.
his name? Dotson? Daniel Dotson?
It was not him. If I hear his name, well, I know it. Yeah, maybe some of the cats out there still remember. But he was there. He left because they opened the Mid America Airport, so he ended up leaving and he went over to the Mid America Airport side to be the chief over there. But we had Mike Edwards there, and I think he ended up becoming the chief around the time when I was leaving. But I cannot remember his name to save my life. Purdue. It was a Master Sergeant. Purdue was the deputy at the time, but I cannot remember the chief's name to save my life. Okay. But when I got to, I ended up getting to Yokota after there. So I was only there a year and some change, and then I put in for a worldwide no preference. And I had a partner of mine pull me to the side. I was like, "Look, man, you put no preference, so there's a chance you might end up getting Korea. There's a good chance you might get Korea. However, they can send you anywhere they want to send you. Yeah. You preference." And so he said, "I suggest you go in and put some choices." And I did. I picked 8 choices. Yokota was number 7. Misawa was number 8. I ended up getting Yokota. And I took off, and I was there for 6 years. And actually, that was the first place that's the first time I met Russ. Russ Iyenshink was there. I worked for him. He was in training, so I was in training with him when he took over as the AC. But I left there and went to Goodfellow and did a stint as a fire instructor for 5 years. And that's when the music kind of really started to take off when I was there at Goodfellow. I'm sure we'll get a chance to chop it up about that a little bit later. But
was you there with Stevens?
Henry Stevens. Yep.
That's my man. You know what I'm saying? That's my man right there, man.
That's a good dude.
We stay together in Panama, man. Me and Fred still keep up, man, always, man. I got dudes I keep up with for life, man. Forever.
So many dudes were there, yeah, that I still know today, man. Daryl Hogan, DJ Hogan.
Of course.
He was there. Yeah, he was there at the time. All of us came up through the fire school, man. Left there, went to Lodges.
Okay.
The Lodges I did a year and some change there. I didn't do the 2 years. I did the year and like 3-4 months. After that was Spain Dollar. I did 2 years of Spain, then left Spain, went to Mildenhall. After Mildenhall, I ended up going to Andrews, and then I did my 2 years at Andrews. After that, I ended up taking off to Kunsan. I was the fire chief there for a year, and then left Kunsan and ended up here at McConnell. Actually, I replaced Henry. Henry,
no.
I ended up getting here. So then there's deployment. So I had a deployment to Escon Village, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Then I ended up deploying to Al Udeid twice. I've been to Iraq, and then after Iraq, the last deployment I had was in Djibouti, Africa. Yeah. So so
right there.
Been around, man.
I know. How was Spank Dollar, man? Spank Dollar was supposed to be my first base, man, but I traded it for Tyndall, which was that Fred had just left Tyndall. I didn't know that. He was the first dude. Her own stories about Tyndall, man. But I got Fred. He was there before me.
Okay.
And then, so I got to Panama. Fred started telling me about Tyndall. I was like, yeah. We same stories. Like I was like, why the hell I switched from you know what I'm saying? I don't know what I was thinking at the time. You know what I mean? But hey, did you like it?
No, Spain was good. Spain Dollar was good, man. It was a good base. I met a lot of cool people there. We had a good team. I was, I first got there, it was a little shaky, but ended up smoothing out, and we ended up, having a good team, man. I ended up having a fire chief there at the time, Chief Lean. He ended up being one of my good mentors and kind of showing me the chief route, and there were some things that I kind of had to sort out in my life, and so he was one of those guys, man, that wasn't really well liked, because he had a strict regiment, man. He had a way of doing business, and so I guess if you listened to him, and paid attention, there was some things you were gonna pick up, but you could push back too, hey, fall on your sword,
Yeah.
if you want, you got to pick and choose your battles. But I listened, man, and I learned a lot from him, and he ended up being one of the guys that actually kind of helped show me the way, to get to where I'm at right now, man. But so it was some challenges there, man, to face, and but the assignment was phenomenal. It was a great assignment, man. I got a chance to go to Rome from there. Got a chance to travel and see Paris, Luxembourg, Belgium. I mean, if you want to see Europe, man, Spangdahlem is the place to go, man. And then just Germany alone by itself, has so many historic sites and so many things to do, man. It's phenomenal, man. That was
Hey,
a
man,
great.
I kick myself every day. Don't feel bad, man. I kick myself, but that's one of the, I can think of all the things that I did. I made mistakes at, being in the military, man. My biggest one was just not going for that assignment. My daughter, I had reasons, it's the same kind of stories you was telling, man, going to the military. My daughter was being born. I was in Miami trying to figure out what I was going to do, working at Walmart. I was a shoe department manager. I was making, back then, $10 an hour was a thing. I was driving the Cadillac. I wasn't hurting now. I was doing good. But then my daughter came. I was like, man, do I want my daughter to see me as this? So this is what I'm gonna do. So when I got the Goodfellow, I was like, man, they gave me the sign. I know you remember this, right? The signs was on the wall. You walk over there, you look. I wonder where I'm going. And it was all on the wall, and I looked up there. I was like, damn, where the hell is Spangdahlem? They was like, oh, that's Germany. Germany. First off, I'm going to Germany. I was like, man, I was sick. I was like, I don't want to go to Germany. I got to see my baby and all this other stuff. And that was I did a 3-way swap. And that's how I wound up getting there, getting the Tyndall, man. But if I could have went back, I probably would have, I did it for the right reasons, I know, but I think I would have went on and with the speed.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, completely, man. And I heard Tyndall was pretty cool too, man. I mean, I've never been, they probably gonna get me for Silver Flag here one of these days here in the near future. But I haven't been to Tyndall. But I've heard the area is real nice, So
That's not bad.
No, not bad at all. I know a lot of people that killed had that assignment. So,
it changed though. It done changed over the years. Same thing like Robbins done changed. A lot of things done changed and people change. You know what I'm saying? So the people change, you get different people there. So I'm sure it's a different place. That was early 90s, different mentality, different people there coming from the 80s and the 70s and 60s, different mentalities.
But we homeboys, man. So like you from Miami, first base end up being in Florida. You want to stay close up. Look at me. I'm from Chicago. Came in the military to see the world, and my first base is Scott. So I was from my front door. My grandmother used to tell me, "Are you really in the military? I'm seeing more of you now than I saw when you."
That's what they said about me. I stayed home, man. I used to get in trouble, man. I'd be driving home. At that time they had that travel limit. You couldn't go so far. When I go down to Miami, I'd be going all the time. I get in trouble, get all kind of write-ups, man. I was like, I'm home. I'm close to home. I'm getting on the road. I'm gonna make it happen. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, everybody's stories are similar, man. My man from the, my man Solo was my first guest I had on. He from the Shy, man. I don't know, you get a chance to go back check that episode out, man. He hey man, he'd be so funny, man. If dudes walked up and they was in the dorms and they said it was from the Shy, he'd be like, "Where you from? What part of the Shy?" What, you know what I'm saying? Man, he just schooled them dudes, man. He make them dudes, and you know how many dudes he caught that was not from the Shy?
Yeah.
Man, he make them do. I was like, man, he's like, what part of the Shy? Well, you know what I'm saying? What side? You don't know. You ain't from the Shy. Like, you ain't from the Shy. You know what I'm saying? One day I'm gonna have to get y'all together, man. That'd be a good, interesting conversation. He's a trip, man. I really go through the dorm. He'd be like getting them cats, man. I didn't want to do everybody from Miami like that. I did a couple people like that, but he was relentless. If you came there and say you from the Shy, man, you ain't from the Shy. Stop lying. I was like, he tell him just like that. Stop lying.
It's a different experience, man. So when you say you from there, if you from there, then you know certain things. You came up a certain way, and it's like, I mean, I don't want to say you just deal with certain things, man. You cut from a different cloth, and I don't care what part of the city you from. If you from the city, it's a different experience. And so if you ain't from within the city. Man.
That been my man for years, man.
Just say I'm from the Chicago North suburbs.
Man, everybody from Cabrini Green. Everybody he would talk to, I'm from Cabrini Green. Like,
well, it's gone now. Cabrini Green.
It's gone. I know it's gone. But that's what everybody would say back then. Y'all from Cabrini Green. He be like, man, get out of here, man. You ain't from looking pretty, man. But yeah, man, it's interesting to hear your story, man. Your story is similar to most cats that come on here, man. And you know, I like when we had a good recruiter story. I had a good one. Everybody that come on tell a good recruiter story, man. I mean, it's similar when you come from inner cities, and that's why I said this show is important, man, to let people see where you could come and where you could go. You know what I mean? It's it's all on you about what you want to do with yourself. You know what I mean?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
But so I'm going to get into some of these questions now. So now I'm going to jump into some to ask some questions. We got the preliminaries out the way.
All right.
Let's get into some of these questions. Okay. All right. So with the music, man, how did being in the military influence your music, and then how you thought about music?
Okay. So I was writing before I came in the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to high school. I took creative writing classes and different things like that. But even before that, so back up just a little bit. You remember when hip hop came on the scene, man, like it was nothing like it, you know. So I'm talking about breakdancing when the movies and the Electric Boogaloo and Ozone and all them was out there flipping around, and you know, during that time, Electric Boogaloo, doing hip hop out, man, and everybody was getting the crews together, you know, getting the windbreakers and all that, and everybody had their crew names. So if we take it back to that, man, you know. My guys in the neighborhood I grew up with, you know, we was trying to do kind of the same thing, you know, getting our little cliques formed, and you know, and just trying to be a part of the culture, man, because it was coming up. And then a partner of mine, his name was JR. We called him J Illa. Man, he was a beast with the freestyle, man. I'm talking about could gather a crowd in the neighborhood in seconds just from his freestyle. And so he and I ended up getting together, man, and teaming up, and we did a talent show back in the hood, you know, and man, it was pretty cool. Now he was a freestyle king. I wasn't. I was more of a writer, you know. And so I put these lyrics down, tried to commit them to memory. We went to this talent show, and man, I froze. I like completely forgot the lyrics, you know, and studied up as best I could. But man, I'm talking, we were like 12, 13 years old, man. But I mean, we were expected to win the talent show. It was supposed to be a big deal, man. But we lost, man, because I froze up and tried to, and we got booed off the stage, man. Standing up there, and I was trying to recover, and like, man, my boy did not deserve that because he was cold. He could have went up there and won it without me, you know. But so I took that L, man, and just made sure, you know, it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take that L. I came in the house crying, you know, disappointed. My mom's like, oh man, you gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. It happens. Don't worry about it. Get back up. Keep on going. So I continued to write, you know, and over the years I continued to write poems and different lyrics. I ended up going to school and doing like creative writing. I wrote stage plays. I had a professional play published in Chicago when I was. Yeah, so it was more so on the literature side. But then, of course, when I joined the military, man, I ended up, of course, linking up with a guy that in Japan that again was a beast on the freestyle, and his name was Reginald Curry. He's a retired Chief Master Sergeant himself. He hasn't even been, I don't think, been retired a year, maybe a year, and but another beast on the freestyle. So me and him was tight. And so we did a lot of running when I was in Japan, and he did a lot of shows. He put an album out, a couple of albums actually, and they were pretty tight. But watching him and learning from him, I got to kind of see how, you know, he handled himself on the business side, and he put his CDs together. He got out there, he sold them. You know, he did pretty well. But he was, I would say, my first inspiration. And then when he ended up leaving, and we got to a point where I ended up starting to try to do my own thing. I was like, you know what, I got all these lyrics, I got all this stuff. Let me try to see what I can do to kind of try to put this stuff to music. So again, military's full of talent, man. Full of talent.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
So I hooked up with a staff sergeant at the time. His name is Ralph Parker, also from Chicago, and he was producing out of his house right there on base and base housing. And he was making some nice tracks. So we put some tracks together, man. And actually one of the songs from my first album, he provided the track that ended up being the inspiration for the song. But Man, we was putting the song together, man. It was nice. We thought we was going to the Grammys like the next 3 months later, we were gonna be at the Grammys. The song was nice, and he had this system that he put together, and the system crashed, man, because he didn't have all of the tools that he needed to the backups and all of that stuff. So the system crashed. We lost everything. The only thing
I've been there. Several times. I've been there.
It was beautiful the way that it came out and he produced it. Man, I lost all of it.
Dang.
Only thing I had was the lyrics and the melody and everything kind of in my head from what we had did. And so I ended up recording a version of it later, but and ended up putting it on my first album. But hooking up with a guy like him, man, was awesome too. So then right before I left there, the Roots actually came to perform at Yokota Air Base, man. And Parker, some kind of way, I don't know how he did it, got us in the back with the Roots at the end of the show, man. And they were playing all of their hits, man. You know, they were playing My Mellow, My Man. You know, they were playing.
Damn.
they was playing all of the early hits, man. And so I just imagine being in the front row. I was in the front row, man, with Parker. This was all him. I don't even know how I got up in the front and how I got, but this was all him. So he had juice like that. So we get there, and I'm just watching the bass player. The bass, I can't remember his name, but he used to keep the chew stick in his mouth. And
I remember that dude, man. The kind of heavy set kind of dude, yeah.
Mesmerizing. He's just up there just killing it. Black Dog getting it in, and at the end, Quest back there doing this thing. So at the end of the show, man, we go backstage with them, and we in the little back room, and man, we talking with the Roots. We chopping it up with the Roots. So he had some discs and stuff that he gave him and everything. I didn't have any material, anything at all. But we did get to ask them a lot of questions. And so one of the biggest things we took away is we asked, hey, look, what would be the single most important advice you would give, to young folks trying to start out? And they looked at each other and was like, they basically all agreed, like, don't quit. And at that time, they've been in the game a long time. But at that point, they had been in the game a long time at that point, and that was before. I mean, we talking, I left Japan in 2003. So we talking 2003, they'd already been in the game for quite a while.
Yeah.
So that's just a testament to it. This thing takes time. It don't happen overnight.
No, it don't happen overnight.
And if it's something that you want to do, you just do it. You just go after it and you just continue down that road. But I would say, man, that's how it started for me. But from there, I ended up going to Texas. And when I got to Texas, man, I didn't know what to do, like how to do music at all when I got there. I actually had a friend in Japan that had a connect at Jive Records. And so he was like, hey, look, man, I got a partner that does music. They said, oh, straight up, all right, tell him to send me his stuff. So I'm like, oh, this is it. Like, I'm about to be put on. This is it. So I send my stuff. But let me tell you what my stuff consisted of, man. My stuff consisted of me taking my lyrics, typing them all out, putting them all in an envelope, bruh, talking about Green, and sending him this stuff with like a picture and all this stuff.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did, bro. Yeah, I did, bro. Yeah, I did. Bro, when I tell you I ruined any chance. But of course, I didn't know at the time, right? I didn't know at the time. I had no knowledge. I just had all passion, all desire. I had no knowledge about how to do this thing, man. So had I known that send me your stuff means, bro, get your behind in the studio and put down your stuff, make it tight, and then send them, a disc or something with your stuff, a demo. I didn't know that at the time. I'm like, oh, send my stuff. Okay, I send what I have. And then when I get to Texas, I realized, okay, I'd already screwed that up. I need to start.
You ain't going to Jive. It's over.
Yeah, Jive is over. Jive is done. Anything with Jive. So let me go ahead and start working on these projects and getting these demos and putting some stuff together. So, man, I'm in the post office at Goodfellow Air Force Base. I had just got there, and I'm in line, and I hear some cats talking about music, and they talking about I think Juvenile's album had just came out, man.
Yeah.
And so and his Slow Motion album. So that album I think it just came out. So when that album came out, everybody's like, oh man, y'all heard Juvenile new album? So I was like, oh, Juvenile album out. So they was like, yeah. So we just talking in line, man. And so then I said, hey, look, y'all know anybody to do music on bass? And the guy in front of me, he was like, man, actually, I do music. And his name is Sidney Walker. Big Sid is what he goes by. He's a partner of mine, one of my best friends. His daughter is my goddaughter. And he's in San Angelo now. But at the time, he's the entertainment director for the city. But man, he's got a lot of big things that he's doing and he's got going on. But at the time, man, he was right at the beginning. He had just released his first project called Southern Comfort. And we hit the streets, man. And we was I'm telling you, we tore Texas up. We was in Lake Charles. We was in Houston all the time. I mean, we was doing all of the little shows out there in Texas. It was nice, man. We was teaming up with guys that have been affiliated with Swisher House, Magnificent, you know, all of the guys, man, that was, as Houston was starting to get back on the map with all of the Swisher House artists, Mike Jones, all of Paul Wall, all of those guys. These are folks that are moving around in their circles. And so now I'm around a lot of this. And but again, I kind of have my own stuff. So I was supporting him and helping him, but I kind of have my own stuff that I wanted to get out there and start messing with. So Sid put me in touch with a dude named Johnny Jefferson. And Johnny, he was a music consultant, man. And he had tried to do his own thing once upon a time. And at this point, he was just consulting. And so he asked me, man, he said, so look, what do you like, man? And what kind of people do you listen to? And so I told him at the time, man, I was real heavy on Erykah Badu and Raphael, man. So that was my two at that time. Like, wasn't nobody better than Raphael Sadiq and Erykah Badu. So I told him those two names. So he was like, man, he said, well, that's interesting that you say Erykah Badu. He said, because I happen to know personally the producer that worked on her first album. And I'm like, yeah. So he said, yeah. He said, so look, I'm gonna ask him if it's cool to give you the information. And he did. He gave me the cast information. His name is he's a phenomenal artist and producer. He goes by the name of Madaku Chinwa, and he ended up he did Love of My Life. So he's one of the producers. He has credits on Love of My Life. So that
jam right there. That's the jam right there, man.
That part, whenever I got lonely, you coming by. He actually wrote that part.
Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? You got me with the chills. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it.
So here's what Madaku does. Madaku gets in touch with me. He's like, look, so yeah, I talked to Johnny. He told me he wanted that you looking to do some music, what you trying to do. So man, I told him, I said, look, this is what I'm trying to do. He said, all right, send me your stuff.
So this time you got it right, though.
I didn't, bro. I didn't get it right.
No.
I didn't get it right. I didn't get it right at all. I thought I was getting it right. So here's what I do. Now I get a video camera and set it up. Still green. I was not as green. I was like dark green now at this point. But still green. So now I take the camera and set it up. He told me that if I ever made it big, this probably why I slowed down a little. He said, if you ever make it big, I'm gonna use this to blackmail you. But I put this video up and I started singing the songs, man, right? In the camera, like all the songs that I had. Okay, and this song is called Beautiful. And I just started singing the song on the camera, right? No music, no nothing. And then I sent him the tape with the 3 songs and the lyrics to the songs. So I sent that in the mail to Madaku. Madaku said, I'm gonna help you, man. So,
what? You got the blessing right there, boy.
But then, bro, I got a huge blessing because then I went to see him at his house in Dallas because he's from Dallas. And so him and his wife were there at the time. And they was talking to me and everything. And so then the whole thing with the tape came up. So, what the hell made you send this tape? And I'm like, I didn't know.
I would have said the same thing. I'm like, what the hell are you thinking?
I didn't know. So they said, when they saw it, they was clowning me. But
I would clown you too.
They looked at each other. It was like his wife looked at him and was like, "Babe, we gotta help him. We gotta help him." He was like, but man, that was all around me, right? Like he was all in. So he music costs money to make, And so one of the things when he told me, you know, this is a Grammy Award winning producer, and so when he told me, hey, look, this is what I normally charge, I was like, man, I
can't afford none of that.
yeah,
I had the same experience. I had the same with another cat. Yeah.
I might be able to do 3 tracks. You know, I might be able to do
That's it.
And so we went to work. I took care of them with what I had for those 3 tracks, but we wanted to put a project together. And so he told me, man, he said, don't you worry, we're gonna complete your entire project. You have to give me another dime. And I gave him the money for those 3 tracks. I'm telling you, man, it was times when he was sick, man. Like he would be sick. He'd be at home like with a cold or something like that, and couldn't make the studio, and would call me and be like, hey, I ain't gonna be able to make the studio, but I got my man at the studio. He's gonna take care of you. Put down whatever y'all need to put down. He knows how to do everything, and you'll be straight. And then I get to the studio and he there. And I'm like, man, I thought you weren't gonna make it. He was like, I couldn't leave you hanging, man. I had to be here for you. So we worked that project, man. We got it together. And that was my first project to showcase. And it was very experimental, just trying to find the sound and trying to see, you know, kind of where that niche was. So you got a lot of like singing and smooth kind of stuff, you know, on there. Very less hip hop, but I wanted to get back to my hip hop roots. So when we were done with that project, the next project that came out, Ghetto Child, had more of a hip hop feel to it. You know, it was a little bit of poetry in there, but then I made sure that I had some hip hop in there as well. And just wanted to get kind of back to what I was truly feeling, you know. But at the end of the day, the music, man, for me has been mostly about just experimentation and just kind of getting that that thing that's inside, you know, that just expressing yourself, you know, and that's just what we come from. That's just that's what it was all about, because we didn't have a lot of things that we can get out there and do. You can go out there and you can play some ball, you know. You know, when breaking came out, we was out there breaking. Hell, when graffiti was big, you know, we was out there spraying stuff we didn't have no business probably spraying paint on.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, and then we couldn't get in the booth, you know, so not being able to get in the booth, we was out on the streets freestyling, you know, and doing stuff like that. But it was all about expressionism. It was about being able to express yourself and talk about the things that's going on and the things that were either holding you back or the things that you wanted to get after. And so that's really what it was about. So being in the military gave me an opportunity, man, to start researching things, really, number one, because you know when you're talking about the Air Force mission and getting after work, you know, it ain't just a matter of, all right, take this fire hose and go put that out, man. You got to know your job, right? So you got to be able to pick them books up, get in them essentials, and start reading up and studying and knocking out that firefighter 1 and that firefighter 2. Well, here I am on the music side, trying to get after it, basically trying to put fires out and don't know how to do it. You know, so I'm just out here with no gear on, you know, just out there in the fire, just with no gear on, trying to do stuff. So I had to get into the books, man, and started studying the craft and learning. And so I would say being in the military allowed me to do that. It gave me the discipline to be able to hold myself accountable and to get my behind to the studio when he said, hey, look, I need you to do this one over. Man, what you mean do this one over? Yeah, I need you to cut it again. That didn't sound right. You could do better than that. This Monaco, this my coach, this the guy that's coaching me right now. And I'm like, man, it sound good. I like it. He's like, nah, do it again. So I do it again. You know, nah, do it again. You can be better. Damn, bro. Like, man,
again?
What you mean, man? Man, I had to do it like 9 times. Like, and then on the last one, he was like, all right, that's the one. That's the money one right there. Perfect. Yeah. I'm like, man, that's the same way it sounded like when I did it.
The first time you did it.
So I'm like, but what I didn't realize, man, is that he was coaching me, man, right? But think about it. If I didn't have the discipline, man, I probably would have been like, man, you full of it, man. What, man, you get up out of my face, man, with all of this. You know, I probably would have been like, man, whatever. You can't work with somebody like that, man. You know, but because I had the discipline and I had been in a situation where people said, hey, look, I need you to go pick that up. I need you to go grab that. Hey, go take care of this. Come back to me. Let me know when it's done. You know, I was used to being able to do what I needed to do, do what I was told, because somebody who had been in the game longer than me knew better than me and was trying to help me to become better. And so I would say that because I had that attitude, man, it ended up paying dividends, and we got that project finished, and it was really cool. Just everything that goes into putting the project together, and you know what I'm talking about, from the artwork, from the artwork, and at that time we was putting projects together. It ain't like it is now, but we had the artwork we had to do, and we had the sleeves and the fold outs, and you know, you got to get your credits right, and you got to get your barcodes, and you got to get all of these things set up. Business is serious, man. And so thankfully I had the military training, and the things that the values that I ended up picking up. It did help me to do those things with the music, man.
Yeah, man. And you know, it's funny you say that about that. You know, about that discipline, and you talk about coaching, being able to coach somebody. So I just went through that with a manager I just had. We had to part ways, man, because you know we got into a misunderstanding, and I'm trying to talk to her about stuff, and some people ain't trying to hear that. We can't coach, you know. And the blessing about us in the military is we are coachable. You can talk to us, and you know, I'm not saying everybody, because some people you can't be coached. You know, I'm just saying this: the few who have gotten to our level, where we was able to be coached. Yeah. Somebody was able to talk to us and say, hey, man, you should go this route, man. Think about that. Do it more times. Do it this. That ain't the way you should go. That's not it. When you get to a person that you can't talk to about nothing, and, you know, just think about they supposed to be managing your career, that is not the one for you. Cut that right away. Move on. You know, we as military members dealing with people that we, you know, our troops and people that we know that trait, and we know what's up. We know how to cut that and move on, because you got to be coachable to be successful in anything you do.
You're right, man. Absolutely right, man.
Yeah. Period, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you know any of them dudes that you was in Cadena, you know, and you coded with, that you want them to come on here, I'd be happy to hear their story. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Shoot my number, man, because I want to hear everybody who's been through what you saying that I've been through. And we got different stories, you know, man. They need to be told.
Definitely send them your way, man, because there's a lot of cats, man, that I know you know a lot of guys.
I know a lot of them too.
It's talking to me, you know, and hearing some of the stories I'm telling you. I mean, as you can tell, it's a lot of guys, man, that you know and that you don't know, you know, that I know and that I don't know. It's so much talent out here, man. I mean, think about when we used to have like the Tops and Blue. That was awesome, because you got all kinds of people that had the talent. You had the guitar players and the bass players and the piano players and the dancers and the singers, and they put this show together, man. It was amazing. And then I hated that they got rid of Tops and Blue. Hopefully one of these days it'll come back.
Yeah, bring it back. Man, I used to love that show, man. That was on point.
I tried to go as often as I could.
Yeah, excellent place that you could see people with talent in the middle. It was an outlet. Like they used to have basketball for basketball players, football for football players. That was an outlet for anybody that was talented to go and showcase themselves, man. Man, you're 100%, man. So when you was in Dakota, so one of the dudes that's a part of the DFPN network, you know, that Philly network, one of the founders of it, he was in Dakota, man, and he started out in Dakota. His name was Mark Brown. He was a big deal over there in Dakota, man. You know what I mean? And his name now is Mark SX, which means Mark Sox. He's still doing this thing. Matter of fact, I'll shoot you something. It's probably he got a new album out now. Dude on point. He was on the show and he was talking about his experience and what in Dakota, and how he was with one of the biggest rappers in Dakota, doing videos over there, producing for him. He got his first little taste of fame over there. So I wasn't sure if you maybe ran into him over there or something like that.
Man, to be honest, I have to see him. I was there from 97 to 2003. So if he was there during that time, we probably bumped into each other. Man.
He did 12 years. He did 12 years Air Force. He wasn't fired, you know. So I think he was a aircraft mechanic. He did 12 years and said, "I'm doing music."
Okay.
Hey,
man.
you got to watch it. You got to go back and watch the episode, man. Watch the episode with Mark.
I will. Okay.
You're gonna like it. You're gonna be like, man, and maybe y'all know some people. It's some of the same people, man. The dude is on point.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna check him out. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm gonna send you his album. I'm gonna send you. He on on Spotify. It's on all the major spots. But I'll send you the latest one, and you can let man the dude hard now. He worked with Crooked Eye. You know what I'm saying? He worked with Royce the 5'9". Okay. You know what I'm saying? You know he been on it.
Okay, man.
And he a part of this network that you on right now.
Okay, cool. Well, I look forward to checking them.
I'll come full circle, man. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna send that to you, man. So, with the next question, man, that was good, man. I'd let you do your thing, man, because I think people don't really know that we as military, we got dreams, man. We got things, you know, we have family things, and sometimes it don't allow us to do that next level stuff. But don't think we ain't got no aspiration to do the next level stuff. And don't think that we ain't out there trying to get this next level stuff. So, man, that was on point, man. I mean, that's probably one of the, I could say here, that's probably one of the most elaborate, along with Mark. That's probably one of the elaborate and best stories I've heard since I've been doing this, man. So I really appreciate that one. And that's in the can because it's being recorded.
Thanks, man.
All right. So my next question, man, if you go along with what you were saying, I mean, did you ever think about leaving the military to pursue hip hop? Did you get a contract with that? Did they try to shop your stuff? That was gonna be my next question, but I knew it was coming up, so I was like, yo, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, man. So a couple of times actually, it was real close. So when you put these products out, really the industry want to see if you can do it really on your own. A lot of times, man.
Yeah,
they're like, if this guy can do it on his own. So I had a guy at Capital. He was one of the scouts for Capital, and he had checked the stuff out. The biggest, and this was with the very first project. He loved it. He took it to their roundtable meeting, and he said to them, he was like, "Hey, look, man, I'm really loving this guy. I want to be able to try to push him." They love the music. They said it wasn't marketable. They said, how we can't this won't be able to compete on the radio. It's good stuff. It's a nice concept album. We can't market this, right? So with that, as we put an album together, I ended up coming up on a manager who was willing to help me out, and actually told me, well, back up a little bit. So with a lot of the circles, you know, Monaco being able to be around a guy like Monaco, you know, you start to meet people kind of in that circle, you know, and being in Texas. Texas is phenomenal when it comes to indie talent and helping music artists. Obviously, you know, South by Southwest is there. They also have the Texas Music Office, which the state has a music office that helps you with all aspects of the industry that you can think of, man. So if you're a young artist, you can hit up the Texas Music Artists. They produce a publication every year. And you can pretty much learn everything you need to know is in that publication, getting in touch with people, putting your projects together, everything you need. So I was fortunate to be able to be in Texas at that time. But I will say that one of the folks in those circles, and I want to name drop in this situation, was like, hey, look, you should think about getting out.
Yeah.
Now this person wasn't mainstream, all right. They're well known. But I'm like, man, I'm gonna get out, and if I end up getting out, you know, like, I mean, there's a chance, you know, I'm gonna get out for what? You know, get out and do what? Like, what's the next move? What's the next step once I'm out? You know, and I didn't have that. You know, it was just get out and pursue this, and I was like, nah, I can't really do that. But there was a manager that was like, hey, look, I will help you. I will help you. I got the connects. I will help you. Like today, but here's what I need you to do. I get what you're trying to do with the jeans and the t-shirts and the nice caps. I get that, you know, you're trying to have that, but I'm gonna need you. This is a real conversation. I'm gonna need you to maybe lose that, throw on maybe a tank top, get the baseball caps turned to the back, kind of TI mode, pull them sag, let them pants sag a little bit. That's what's out here. That's what's hot. That's what these people is doing. Then, man, bruh, this was what I was told. You know, this is how you're gonna be. This is how I'm gonna help you. You know, and you can do this. My biggest thing at the time, man, was looking at music and what was happening. You know, in the industry with a lot of artists and things like that. You could see the writing was on the wall. Things were kind of going from the way they used to be during the golden age, and it was just to me, it's a slow decline. The beats are still on point, man. There's some hot stuff out there, don't get me wrong, and I believe I ain't trying to knock nobody's hustle. It's different strokes for different folks, but stuff that was coming out, it was just getting more and more hardcore, you know, and that wasn't really my style. So I was like, okay, so if I do this is not going to be authentic. This ain't me. Mm-hmm. And I was told, doesn't matter. It's about what sells. So then I was like, well, I can never come back. You know, from that, like once I go in that direction, it ain't no turning back. And they was like, no, you can always change. You know, if you want to change your style up later, go ahead and get put on and then change your style up later. And I'm like, I don't think you can do that. Because let's say I want to go into politics.
No, you can't do it.
I go into politics later after I done put out some big booty music. I can't get into politics after that. They're going to be like, oh, man, we don't want to hear that from you. Go back to making them booty bangers that we used to do. That's what we want to hear from you. We don't want to hear nothing about positivity from you. You know, you can't switch it up once you done went down that road, man. Yeah, that's just the way I look at it.
I'm glad you didn't listen to it.
Yeah, bro, I couldn't do it. And as much as we all want that, man. You know, you want your art, but that wasn't gonna be my art, man. That wasn't gonna be something that was coming from me. I don't even know if I could have wrote the hits, man, but wrote hits like that. But that ultimately put me down a path where I just continued to do my stuff the way that I did it, you know. And this was still first project. I released 2 albums after that, you know, and a mixtape, you know. So, and I just continued, just do my own thing, man. And if it takes off, but at the time it was like, hey, look, I'm just gonna go ahead and just do me. So yeah, that was a couple of times, man, when I absolutely did think about it. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I chose to stay, man, and I was torn. I chose to stay in the Air Force and stick with it, man, because I just still had, you know, the desire to serve, and I just wasn't ready to walk away, man. And I had still so many people at the time that depended on me, you know, the team, you know, and then as you get ranked, you know, you get more and more responsibility, and you get to meet and be responsible for more and more people. But not only that, I was still responsible for my family, man. Nieces and, you know, was getting older, you know, and needing things. And so I had to, you know, send money home from time to time. And I'm like, man, I'm going to get out for something that I'm passionate about, you know, and that I really love doing. But once I'm out, man, it's just me out here trying to get it. But right now, I have a job. I have something that I enjoy doing. And I'm in a position where I can help my family. And I can still do music. I was in a position where I was able to still do music. You know, when I got off work, I can take the drive up to Dallas and do what I need to do in the studio, hit Austin, hit the studios up there. You know, I was able to still make moves. And so I'm glad I did make the decision to stick with it. It got to a point once I became a senior NCO that I kind of had to pump the brakes a little bit. And I was actually told by some cats that mentored me, hey, look, you know, if you decide you want to stick around and potentially make senior chief, you ain't gonna be able to do both. It's gonna be hard. And they was like, it's gonna be very hard. So you probably gonna end up having to make a choice. And man, I didn't really realize it at the time what they was talking about, but after, you know, sticking around and getting more and more responsible, it was like, man, I ain't gonna be, I can't even go to the studio. You know, I ain't got the time. You know, but I did decide to stick around, man. But there were 2 occasions, man, that I can think back to where I was told, like, by people in the industry that were able to help, like, hey, look, you should get out, you know. And one didn't really have a roadmap paved for me, so I was like, nah, not going to do that. I mean, it ain't even really benefiting you as much. But then the other one was definitely in a position where they could have helped me, but they was trying to get me to change and be something that was completely not me. And I couldn't do that, man. I just couldn't do it.
Hey, I understand. Like I said, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. It just, you know, for me, just, you know, I did get off active duty and I went to the reserves. And I got a federal job and I did that. So I had a little more time available to me, even though we just took different paths, but on the same little journey. And I was, you know, always really passionate about it. So it came to a point with me, I guess the blessing for me was, I was in a band back in the days. I was very good in what I played. I played French horn. I learned music. I knew how to understood music. So me and my best friend, we was like, look, enough of this. You know what I'm saying? My man from Shy, he's like, yo, enough of this. We gonna buy this thing called Triton. I don't know the hell a chord Triton. You know, I never had one before. I set it down on the ground. I started messing with it. Started tinkering with it. All of a sudden, I can make beats. I didn't even realize I could make beats. Yeah, it just got better and better, and I just got better and better at making beats, and I got better and better at making beats to that point where I'm like, damn, my beats pretty good. You know what I'm saying? People want my beats. They like what I do. And then I was able to kind of do my own thing. I think that helped me out. Then I started building my own little studio equipment. I record my own stuff now. I think, you know, I think that changed it for me. Once I started being able to do that, come home off work, I'm on a Saturday, like right now, I'm doing this. When I finish with you on the Saturday, I got my equipment right in front of me here. I'm gonna walk right over here, plug, you know, start stuff. My cousin sent me a track the other day. I'm gonna sit here and write the track, write a verse for him and record that. Okay. Right here, you know what I'm saying? So I think once I got to that point, I think that's a little. But if you, and then, you know, back then it was so expensive to go to the studio, man. They won't, you know what I'm saying? You go, you know, we got our invoices. We had spent like good what $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 in the studio. Me and my partners in Columbia, South Carolina. You know, it was just so much back then. You know, so yeah, understand. Yeah, and family first, man. And I had to make some of those same choices, man. And then, you know, coming up, becoming an NCO and CNCO and so on and so forth. You gotta make them choices.
Right, man. You're absolutely right, bro.
Yeah, man. Located, bro.
All right, you there?
Oh yeah. Hold on one second. Can you hear me? Hold on one second. You got me? So hold on a minute. Anyway, if I take a pause in between here, don't advertising it, but I want to see where your song is at because I don't see it on here. So I'm gonna ask him real quick what a song at if he was able to upload it on here. What's going on with it? Hold on one second.
All right.
We could do that when you're doing this kind of stuff.
All right.
All right. I just asked him the question. So okay, I'm back. I'm gonna keep going and we'll figure out what he did with it. He can throw it on there. He's asking what the song was, and he'll try to plug it in there. He'll put in that little space. He'll throw advertisement in there, something. All right. So that was good, man. I'm telling you, I like that. That you know, because like I said, man, I went through that. I had to make some choices, you know, work and, you know, doing music and whatever. I always was able to spend a little money on my stuff, but you know, and along the way, people try to do me the same way, man. Hey, what you need to do is you need to look like this, you need to do this, make your music like this, you ain't commercial. But I have friends I was close to, you know what I mean, that, you know, that was like, you need to be like this. Your stuff ain't marketable. You ain't this, you ain't that, man. Sometimes, you know what, that to me, it takes away from what the art is. That's what art is, expression, and being able to do what you want to do, how you feel it. Everything ain't about, okay, this needs to sell. If you know, why don't you do this song so this could sell? Man, I'm from Miami. I've never did a booty popping song in my life. Never in my life. Now I said this on the show before, and I'm gonna say it again. Now, what I did do when I was younger, we would go perform in the neighborhood and stuff like that, and perform at, you know, different shows back in Miami. We got the flea markets, and so we perform at all the flea markets in Miami. They had the Philip Michael Tom like amphitheater. We go up there and perform up there like a little theater in North Miami. So we go up there and perform. What we would do, this is how we learned to do it. So me and my little group at the time, shout out Southern Milan, shout out to the Rah-Sool Southern Milan. That was our name back then. What we would do was we would go out and do a whole loop theme where we do our loop dance in the beginning, get our look on, you know, popping it, you know what I'm saying, get our pop on. By that time, the girls going crazy. By the time we got the girls going crazy, we switch it into some hip hop. They start rapping on some hip hop. Man, they didn't care what the hell we was saying after that. Long we can get, you know what I'm saying, we can get, I brought them in with that and I switched it on, you know what I'm saying? But I hope ain't no videos of me on stage doing the California Worm nowhere.
You sure about that?
You talking about your tape?
You sure about that? Oh,
no. Doing the California Worm on the stage somewhere. So we're gonna burn that. We don't want nobody to see that. But I got you. But I just, you know, I'm with you, man. I couldn't change, man. I'm myself. You don't like my music. You don't like me. I speak what I speak.
I even had a friend, man, once tell me, man, you need to just find one of these artists and target, and just like one of these famous artists, target them and just come at them, like, and just eat them up. Just come at them hard. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna, like, come on, man, I can't do that.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, when we when this conversation over with, when we finish this podcast, me and you gonna rap, man. Don't even sweat that. You know what I'm saying? We got this. Don't even sweat that. You know what I'm saying? Cheek to cheek, we got that.
I heard
you know
that.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next question, man. So, okay, what or who was your biggest inspiration to start rapping?
Man, yeah. So I would have to say, man. I talked about RC, man. I think that was it, man, because it was it for him. I would say he would be the guy because he was doing it, man, and he was doing it huge and put the projects together, man, and me watching him and seeing him do it and take off, man, I was like, man, this is possible, this can be done. And he was an NCO and he was doing very well, man. He was an HVAC dude, so engineer as well, and he was doing this thing, man. And so he inspired me to get after it. He showed me that, man, you can be in the military, you can do your job well. He made chief, like some years before I did, and so at the end of the day, he was my inspiration, man. He was like the guy that I saw that made it possible. Like, hey, if RP can do it, if RC can do it, and he's out here crushing it on the job every day and able to dedicate and commit time to getting into the studio. He flew from Japan to go back home and record and then came back and put his stuff out. So that was dedication and commitment. And I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna go ahead and I got this stuff in me that I want to try to get out and put out. So he was the catalyst, man. I would say he ignited it. And then getting to Texas and hooking up with my boy Sid, and the work that we did together, man. He helped push me there as well. So yeah, I would say those were my two biggest inspirations to get started and get after my own.
So no hip hop artists, no artists out there, like.
So man, so then I guess if you want to talk a hip hop artist, like a specific artist, that was an inspiration, man. I would probably say, man, Common. I met Common years ago. When I was going to school at Northern Illinois University, and Common came. He was Common Sense at the time,
Yeah, of course.
And so at the time he came and he did a show, man. And so, man, I'm gonna tell you, I remember sitting on the steps because I did like the smallest dude and probably at the university doing security. No, but I was a part of an organization called the Black Inter-Hall Council, and so one of the Black student organizations, and when they had a hand in bringing them down, and so I had to stand the door and help with tickets and all of that stuff, but when everybody was inside, before he came, in, I got to see him out there. And then he came in and he'd do a show, and then at the end of the show, people partied a little bit, and but at one moment, Common was sitting on the steps, man, and from the Shy as well. He's sitting on the steps, and he kind of had his hands, on his head like this, kind of just sitting down and just chilling. I mean, it just looked like he had the world on his shoulders, man. And I never, engaged with him to find out, hey man, everything good, but he finished an awesome show, and he was just sitting there just kind of like, man, okay, it's night's over, and had his hand kind of in his head like he was tired or just had a lot on his mind, man. And who knows what he had that was going on. But I saw that realism, man, and a lot of times you don't get to see that part of an artist, especially like during shows or right after shows. They still in artist mode, but he was in human mode. And I can kind of see, man, this is a real dude, man, probably with some real struggles and problems. You get starstruck sometimes, when you meet famous artists, but, they real people just like you and I, and so at the end of the day, he took off because he had some hits out then on those first couple of albums. But, man, he ended up, of course, becoming the man he is now, but being able to watch him do his thing. And he was a man right from the same city. I would say that he was a big inspiration and a huge example and a positive MC. You know what I'm saying? That just put out what he wanted. Look, the man flipped it on us and start changing his dress up. We all know how that happens. So I don't want
I know. One of your other inspirations that you shared earlier, I know exactly how that happened. She tends to have that effect on people.
Look, so at the end of the day, hey, look, I got my wife right here, man. She said, I need you to wear these crochet pants. I don't know Yeah, I'm like, all right, baby. I might not want to win, but she could probably get me to throw these crochet pants on. When you're in love, love will make you do some stuff.
It make you do some things, but
Yeah,
crochet hat.
but
It'd be
he
100 degrees outside. He had a crochet hat on. Like, that's
crochet
love.
hat. Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, I will say, his artistry, man. Like, but look at what he did, what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? This man was like, hey, look, all right, I'm gonna release this album. I don't care what people think. This is me. This is what I'm feeling. I'm putting this out. And he's lived that's how he's lived his life. He sold albums, many albums. But man, I'm telling you, it's cats that probably put out songs with way less substance that made way more money,
Yeah.
But for him, he's made money, but he's made money being true to himself. And being true to his artistry. So yeah, he's probably one of the biggest examples.
Yeah. And my thing is, if you can't stand for, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, man. I stand for stuff. A matter of fact, this same manager, this whole other stuff situation with her, man. But she sent me a message the other day, like just yesterday. Hey, you want to get your music placed? Send me this, send me that. You know what I'm saying? I'll please place your music instrumentals. I ain't even respond because for me, when you touch a moral situation and it's moral, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I can't mess with you. I don't mess with you. You ain't gonna get me. And I'm at the age right now where you ain't gonna entice me with that. Yeah. I already got, you know what I'm saying? I drive a Mercedes out here, man. I'm straight, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't make me, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna make me, I'm gonna put your music somewhere. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I put music when I want to put music. I do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to do that. Thank God. You don't want to listen to it? Guess what? You ain't gotta listen to it. You don't want to listen to this podcast? Turn the podcast. Yeah. I don't care. Right, you know what I'm saying? This ain't for you. This is for vets that's in the military, that have been in the military, was in the military before, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and they make music. And it's guys out there right now, young cats, I don't care what kind of hip-hop or music they doing, that need to hear this. They who I want to listen to this. It ain't for you, turn it off.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm afford the right to do that because I work hard to get to where I'm at to be able to sit here and do this. Right, so I'm straight, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got people, I'm not gonna flip my morals for nobody. So I commend you for not wearing the baggy pants and the hat to the back. I already know how the shot go. I know you could not be walking around with your hat over here and your hat over there because it ain't gonna work for you. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I already know, you know what I'm saying? So thank God you stuck to your morals and you said, you know what? I'm gonna do what I do. Yeah. So I commend you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, after we finish this call, we gonna talk. I don't subscribe. I subscribe to like I say, my morals, doing what I like, what feel good and what sound good, and that's that. So yes, but like I said, this is a good one, man. I'm telling you right now, this gonna be one of them ones. This gonna be one of them shows people gonna tune into. We dropping some science on here, some knowledge, right now. And for me, I'm gonna say this. So. I'm gonna go back and say about when I met Rakim was one of the biggest artists I met. I met other artists. One of the biggest artists that I wanted to meet was Rakim, and I felt like when he touched my hand, some kind of power came through my body, and it just touched my pen. I ain't never been the same since. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never been the same since. My pen ain't never been the same. My pen game ain't never been the same since. Something happened. He had the softest hands I ever met. Like but when I met that cat, he was sitting there, real as hell, nicest dude. He could have been, but he was real. On the other hand, like you see somebody like Common, then you meet somebody else. Like I was a big Pharoah Monch. I don't know if you know what Pharoah Monch is.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, but I was a big Pharoah Monch fan. So we went to A3, what is it, A3C? I don't know if you've ever been to that in Atlanta, the A3C Festival in Atlanta. So it's kind of like South by Southwest, but it's in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I went to that, whatever, and and he was in a club one night. So I saw him. And I was like, he had. I think he was. I don't think he performed yet. He was just walking around that club, whatever. Other people was performing on the stage. He was walking around. So I saw him, and I say, "What's up, man?" I'm just telling him, and he kind of blew me off, man. He kind of was like, "Get out of here, man." You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you gotta say. He was kind of like that with me. And from that moment on, I said, I know how people have things, you know what I'm saying. But as a fan, they trying to throw me off, man. I have never bought his record again. I won't even listen to his interviews. I won't listen to nothing he say no more because I thought he was a phenomenal MC. I would listen to his albums over and over and over. But that's the reality of people's lives.
Yeah.
You don't know what he was going through. He's a human just like I'm a human. I guess he was sick of people, but it affected me. It's like you as a chief, somebody come up to you and want to have a conversation with you. To people who are not in the military, they don't understand what it is once you put on that E9 and you become a chief. Yeah. It's just like you with common sense. It's just like you would, you know what I'm saying? Just like people see you coming, and it's like, you know, that look, they go, oh my God, you know what I'm saying?
Something must be wrong with him. He must be going through something. Yeah.
You be like, they part like the Red Sea. You walk in the room, everybody move. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But it's how you interact and how you know, we have human everyday lives, but it's how you come across to people, man. And it's probably a good thing you didn't go talk to Common that day. Because had you had went down, he might have said something to you. Or,
but he was cool. Yeah, he was cool. He didn't look like he was mean. It just looked like he just, he was in his zone, you know. And so I didn't really bother him, because I would have probably went up and been like, hey, he didn't even look like. Yeah, I was like, nah, I ain't gonna bother him. He looked like, he
looked like he was walking through the crowd. He was just walking through the club. And I said, hey man, what's going on? How you doing, man? I like, but he kept like, yeah, man. You know, so he was kind of like, yeah, whatever. It kept, he listened to me, but he was like, yeah. I gotta go over here. You know what I'm saying? You in my way. It was kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, like I say, it's how you treat people every day, and you just don't know how that affects somebody. You just don't know. So, probably good thing you didn't. Who knows? He was okay, man. You don't know what was going on with him, but you did the right thing by not messing with him. You just don't know.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, one little instant could change your life forever, man.
That's true, man.
And how you perceive somebody. All right. So the next question, man, is this. All right. And I know this is a good one for you because I like it. All right. So, best speed rapper. Busta Rhymes, Lazy Bone, Chip Fu, or you gonna stick with the home team, the Twisters? I threw a bunch of them out there. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to go one way or another. You gonna stick with the home team, or you gonna get away from the home team? Where you going?
That's a tough one, man. So Busta. So you said Busta Rhymes,
Lazy Bones, Chip Fu. You remember Chip Fu?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Twister.
Yeah. So Chip Fu, the Jamaican brother, right?
That's the Jamaican. Ring the alarm. Sound dying. Whoa, hey. That dude.
Man, bro. So he tight. He's got something. He's real tight. I would say, Busta Rhymes is the man. That's my guy, man. You know what? I have to absolutely would not be able to show myself if I went against, man. And it ain't just, I'm biased. It's a little bit biased maybe, but you can't deny the skills, man. And if you go back, we going back to the early 2000s, we going back to the 90s, man. You can't deny the music that this dude has made, man. Twister, man, is just phenomenal. He one of the realest and one of the original ones that was split like that. Guinness Book of World Records. Come on, man. So I gotta go with Twister, man. I have to.
I'm gonna let you ride with that one, because I was gonna go with Twister too. Because I was on Kamikaze when Kamikaze came out. Like, what the hell? Twister took it to the next level.
Wasn't nobody doing it like that. And Busta brings the energy. Busta's gonna bring the energy, and he comes with it. He like, he doing all of that. But Twista's just real smooth with it too. Lazy Bone is tight. He's smooth. I just don't give him the same lyrical ability, man. He's unique. He's got his thing, but I just think Twister can do so much more, man, with it. So I'm gonna have to go with Twister, man. That's final answer.
I would say Twister.
Don't make me put him in rank order though. Don't make me put him in rank. If I had to put him in rank order, I'm gonna say Twister, Busta Rhymes, Chip Fu, and Lazy Bone.
Yeah, I would do the same order. Same order. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to go back I was in the gym the other night, man. I said, let me listen to Chip Fu. Maybe I'm missing, you know what I'm saying, man. Chip Fu was snappy. I'm like, man, I know why I like Chip Fu.
Yeah, he's got a couple of so you hear a lot of people hear that, but that he got some tracks, man, out there where he like the snaps when it goes off, and he's very unique and with the way he hits it too, man. But I like his flow, and he's singing too. He's very versatile, But yeah, I have to go with Twister, man. You said speed rapper, so I'm gonna go with
with Twister. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure my man when he came here did the exact same thing. He looked at me like, I'm going with Twister. That wouldn't even been a question. I don't expect nobody from I threw it out there as a little trick question, but I don't expect nobody from the Shy to go against the grain. I don't expect it. If you did, I would have got on you. I'm like, really? You really gonna go there? You gonna really do that in front of everybody that's gonna be listening to this podcast? You gonna say Anybody other than Twister, you from Chicago.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Hey, I was setting you up.
I believe it though too. It ain't just because I'm trying not to be on the other team. I believe it. He is tight, man.
He is tight. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a hard choice because I would have picked it too. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the next question is, you probably got some. I think you probably touched on some of this, but I'm gonna see if you got another one out there. What is one of your most memorable hip hop moments since you've been in the service?
So you talking about like something that's going on in like with hip hop, like an event, like that happened in hip hop.
It could be that, or it could be something that, like for me, I got to be on the stage with Coolio. Coolio sucked, but you was with the Roots. I'm like Coolio. But,
oh man, so yeah.
My favorite hip hop moment was Rakim though. I mean, I'm from military. I was at Charleston. And we went to a show, and that was one of my moments. But you might have another one. You know what I mean? Something else.
Man, so I will say, man. So I done had a chance to open for for Bone Thugs. I had an opportunity. That was the first group I got to open up. So you brought up Lazy Bone, but yeah, I got a chance to open up for them in San Angelo. Got a chance to open up for Fat Joe, Yin Yang Twins.
Wow.
And that stuff was cool, you know. But I will tell you, man, I would say probably one of the I met Erykah Badu, you know. That was awesome, you know, being able to be her.
Was it?
And
I got some people that's gonna be mad and be jealous. My boy from the shower be pissed right now.
Yeah, I was starstruck too. Actually, I met her twice, and but the first time I met her, it was at my man Marticool's wedding. Because him and her are really good friends, and they came up together as kids. So I met her at his wedding, man, and I didn't realize at the time. You know, he told me after the wedding, he was like, "Hey, I want you to meet Erykah." You know, so I go back and she's sitting down, you know, in the room where everybody eating and everything, and she's sitting down, and man, she just had like you look at her skin was just like fresh skin, man, like it was just newly, like God just put it on her. Completely starstruck, man. Like,
dude, like God, just put it on her.
This is Erykah Badu. Oh my God! You know? And what I didn't realize, she had this huge hat on, man. Like huge, like just it was like a full circle, like a round hat.
What kind of hat is that?
It was big, like huge, man. It covered like she dipped her head like this, and like covered like from her head to like her mid. Like it could cover. That's how big it had. So she's sitting down and she's like kind of like this, and so he said, "Hey, I just want you to meet my man Sean." You know, so she was like, "Oh, nice to meet you, brother." And I shook her hand, and I was like, "It's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure."
Oh, you was doing one of them? Huh?
I might have bowed a couple of times, like, "Oh, so nice to meet you." But she hit me with she was kind of looking like, "Oh, nice to meet you too." But she's kind of like looking like, "Hey, you know, like." And so then I looked down, man, and she's nursing her baby, man. Like, and so the hat covers the baby, so you.
Oh no!
I couldn't see it. So when her head was down like this, she covered, like, it's smooth. The hat was smooth because you can cover the baby up where nobody could really see it. And that's how I realized, like, oh, she's nursing like the baby. I'm like, oh, sorry, you know. But man, I'm like, awkward. But I will tell you, man, a phenomenal moment. Like, and then I got to meet her again after that, and I would say shortly after that. But it was the time her sister goes by the name of Nayrock, was performing, and she's in you know, the son backup for a lot of years, and she ended up kind of doing her own thing, rock music. A phenomenal artist in her own right. And I had an opportunity to meet her at one of Nayrock's shows. Erykah had bought the Black Forest Theater downtown, well, down in the Oak Cliff area where they grew up at, and she put on a show there for her sister, and I went there and I met her again there. But it was, I would say that moment was, as awkward as it was phenomenal, because it was the first opportunity I had a chance to meet like one of my major inspirations, you know, and phenomenal artist, man. When I came in the military, she had just dropped her first album. That On and On album had just came out when I got to my first base of Scott, man. So I was jamming that all.
We all was.
Yeah, I know. And she was spitting that knowledge too, man. The mothership can't save you, so it's gonna be
I'm gonna tell you once again, hey, you knocking them out the park on here, man, because that's about another one of the best ones I've heard since I've been on here. I'm like, what? Man. She was nursing. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, that's one of the best ones.
Nursing,
man. You knocking them out the park on here, man. Everybody gonna be riding this one, man. You knocking them out the park with some of this stuff. I'm like, you did what? Yeah. I looked down, man. She was nursing. I'm like,
yeah.
Like what?
So I did also, man, like, and that's probably my favorite one. I'm gonna tell this one because this one is a close second. I met Chuck D at South by Southwest. I cornered him. I had my second album already out. No, it was still the first one. We went to South by Southwest. And Public Enemy performed that night. We actually got to see him and Flag on stage perform, man. It was amazing. Before that night, though, sometime during the afternoon, he had did a thing, and right after, man, he started walking with one of his partners. They walking down the street in Austin, just the two of them. And I got my backpack with my CDs and stuff in it, man, and I just hit it. I hit the streets. I was like, I gotta go. This about to happen. Hey Chuck, hey Chuck, hey man, can I talk to you? Elevator pitch, right? He was like, hey, I'm walking, man. I gotta hurry up and get to this next appointment. He said, so you can walk with me, but he said, I ain't got a whole lot of time. He said, so you got 3 minutes, man. I'm moving. And so he started walking, and he ain't moving. He said, you come with me, but you got 3 minutes, man. We gotta be somewhere. And I corner him. So I don't know what to say, man. I'm like, oh God, like, hey, so my name is Rah-Sool. I got this album. How many people done hit him up with that, right? So I said, hey, here's my album. It's a phenomenal album. He's like, what kind of artist are you? What you hip hop? What you do? I was like, a little bit of everything. I got a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of singing, I got a little bit of poetry on it. I mean, quick and just. He was like, all right, give me a CD, man. Give me what you got. I gave it to him. He gave me a card, and he kept on walking. Never missed a step. Never paused, stopped. Everything he was doing was.
That's a pro. That's a pro. That's somebody who's been doing this for a long time.
So he's like, you got something to say, something to give me? Let's go. Get it to me. So nothing came of it. You know, I listened to he was doing a little show at the time, a DJ show, and, you know, he had a radio show thing going on, and I listened to it a few times, but he had the CD, you know, and if he listened to it, you know, and liked it, you know, I would have probably heard back. So number one, maybe he didn't listen to it. Maybe he listened to it and didn't like it. But at the end of the day, I learned from the experience how to prepare your elevator speech before I ever took a speech class. You know, I learned it there on the street with Chuck D. Yeah. Hey, the next time you have an opportunity to meet somebody, be ready. And why should they stop and listen to you? Why should they, when they get home or wherever it is, this is what they do. They famous already. They probably got other people that they interested in. Why should they be interested in you? You need to make sure that you craft that message. You know, prepare that elevator speech so that if this ever happens again, you know what to say, and you put that project in their hand. If they take the project and walk away with it, man, you want them to be able to leave your presence going, okay, I'm gonna have to get this. I'm gonna have to check this out when I get home. You know. So
I understand. I gave my stuff to me and my partner. We was at A3C, watched the conference with we at that first time around. We didn't know what to do, so we paid for a whole bunch of different things. Sit and watch different artists talk about different things, and we didn't know. We just paid for stuff. Mm-hmm. And so we went there. We saw Talib Kweli.
Yeah.
We gave him the CD. He like, yeah, same thing. He walking. We didn't get a chance to talk to him, but he was walking over, gave him the CD. He took it and walked on. He probably never listened. He probably got around the corner, threw it in the trash, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've been around different. I watched my cousin battle. You know what I'm saying? What's his name from the Clips? Damn, I can't think his name right now. From the Clips.
From who?
From the Clips, the group, the Clips.
No. Who?
What's his name, man? I can't think his name. Damn, I don't know why my mind is going blank right now, man. He a big artist right now. You know what I'm saying? He was signed to Good Music with Kanye. What's his name, man? Damn, I don't know. It's gonna hit me later on when I ain't think about it. It was him and his brother in the Clips, you know. So I watched my cousin battle him. I watched my boy go and battle.
Yeah, you talking about Pusha T?
Pusha T. That's what it is, man. I'm telling you, my brain do that. So, hey, I call it the old man memory.
So I knew about Pusha T before, I just knew about Pusha T before he was with his boy and everything. I didn't know that he was in that group.
Yeah, it was in the clips.
I didn't know that until afterwards, man.
Yeah. My cousin battled him. My cousin battled him, right? My cousin fearless though.
All right.
Yeah, I had to shoot some of my cousin stuff. He sent me a track for me to get on, man. My cousin been doing this thing in Miami, man. He ain't playing. He fearless though. He don't care. He walk up to anybody. I see my cousin walk up any MC. He don't care who you are, what you got going on. Battle right there.
Man,
I got a heart. I got some battling skills. His battle skills are better than mine. He walk up there. He be like, boom, what? I'm like, wait a minute. He did sway. You know, did the sway. Yeah, I'm watching do it to a bunch of cats now. You know what I'm saying? The dopest MCs you could think. Yeah. We on South Beach. My cousin, like you walk around, you on South by Southwest. My cousin would do that. We go on South Beach, Memorial Day weekend, all these stars out there. My cousin bum rushing. What's up? Boom. Battle. They sitting there. They don't know what to do. They don't know whether to battle, whether not to they don't know what to do.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I know what you mean. you get a minute to get it right. Or you out of gas, man. So yeah, but that was a good story, man. I'm telling you, knocking them out the park, man. All your stories been like just phenomenal, man. So I'm about to put you on the chopping block again with the shot. I'm gonna get you again.
All
I'm gonna trick question you again. See what you gonna do. Best Chi-Town. I guess you might have answered it before, but we're gonna try it again. Best Chi-Town MC or group.
Damn.
Now you can pick from, you know what I'm saying, Head in the Middle of the Barn, Psychodrama.
Crucial Conflict, man.
So they know all of them now. I know them all.
They from the West Side, man. My city, man, is full of phenomenal artists, man. This ain't no knock to no other cities, because I know we got talent all over our country, man. But this is just another one of the reasons why I'm so proud of where I'm from, man. Like Earth, Wind, and Fire from Chicago, man.
Yeah, man.
Buddy Guy, his daughter Shauna, No ID.
Oh yeah, what? No ID.
Chance the rapper, obviously Kanye. It's so many phenomenal artists. Jeremiah, Jennifer Hudson, Donny Hathaway.
Donny Hathaway, that's my man now. You record with that with me. I love Donny Hathaway.
If we want to stick to hip hop, I would probably have to say, oh man, the Brat. Did I say the Brat? I think I said her earlier. Shaka Khan. I would have to say, if I had to pick a favorite, man, like hip hop artist. Yeah, man, I'm probably gonna stick with Common. And the reason, man, is just, for me, it's just it's the way he did it, staying true to himself. He's not gimmicky, the dude, just what he's feeling, he puts out there, man, and he cares about the people, man. He cares about the struggle and things that folks are going through, and he talks about that. It's a lot of things that a lot of the other artists bring to the table, man, and I know a lot of them are helping out in the city in their own right. Chance is very, very huge in the communities and helping out in the communities. But I will say, man, Common in his music and his messages and the way that he lives his life and he carries himself, man. The dude is top notch, class act. So he's the dude that kind of connects with me more than I would say those other artists. I have a great deal of respect for all those other artists, but he connects with me in kind of the way that I am. I think there's some similarities there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in the artistry, but in the personage. It's in the way we carry ourselves and do business. I try to be that a positive force, a good example, and a person that's able to help others. And so in my music, I try to make sure that translates, and so he's the one that I think I connect with the most.
Yeah, man. How about group? You know what I'm saying? Do or Die, Crucial Conflict. You know what I'm saying? Psychodrama.
I'm gonna go with Crucial Conflict, man, and and that's another maybe biased choice, but they write from one of the cats from Crucial Conflict. His name is Corey. Corey's actually from my directly. All of them are from my neighborhood in Austin. But Corey actually went to grammar school with me, man. Yeah, so Crucial Conflict, I have to give them their credit, man. I didn't even know them cats was in the studio like that. Like I didn't even know. Like, and then when he was like he was in the studio making music at some point, and I knew one of his cousins, and one of his cousins was like, "Oh yeah, he be going to the studio and everything." You know, everybody go to the studio. Yeah, a lot of
Everybody talking about they in the studio. You right?
in the studio. Okay, cool. You in the studio, but man, then they came out with that. Hey. Whoa, man.
Oh yeah, that was a jam. I was in tech school when that came out, man. When you went to tech school, did you go to tech school in like '96? When you went there? January, February?
I got there in '96. Yep. Hey, so that
When?
came out. I went in so I graduated April. I think I graduated April of '96. I graduated in April.
So you was there when I was there, man. I graduated March.
So yeah, we was there at the same time.
Same
Absolutely.
time, man. I'm like, damn, it's such a small world, man. I was probably a couple classes ahead of you, you know, whatever. But yeah, we was there at the exact same time. Matter of fact,
had to be. Yep, had to be. Yeah, I graduated in April of '96, man.
No, I take it back. Let me see. No, I think I had. No, I'll take it back. I got there March of '96, and I graduated like June.
Okay, so we was there a month together.
Yeah, 1 month, and I was on my way out. You know what I'm saying? You remember what's that little shortcut? Honeycut.
Oh yeah.
Remember Sergeant Honeycut with the big little shortcut with the big ears?
You had Honeycut, and then you had man, there was another sergeant. There that Honifer.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. Yeah, so we got there around the same. You know, we same thing, man.
The Honifer was a buck sergeant, man.
He was. One of the
heartbeat. You better not call him. Yeah, you better not call him Seeing Airman.
They didn't like that, boy. Don't call me no. Yeah, don't call me.
He told you on the spot from day one. My name is Sergeant.
he did say that.
But as soon as he turned his back, man, you know how we was. He was like, all right, whatever, Seeing Airman.
Yeah, he made that clear the first day. My name is Sergeant. He did not want to become a call up Seeing Airman. I'm a sergeant. And the other cat, Honeycut, man, it's a crazy story. When I came off, you know, because I see you was a green rope. I see you was a rope too, right? So funny story about that rope, you know what I'm saying? So I came off the bus, right? So I'm straight. I got my town, you know, I had my long sleeve blues on. I come off there, ain't got a stripe nowhere. I came off there, he was like, hey man, come here. He say, man, you look good, you sharp. I'm gonna make you one of my ropes. I came off the damn bus. He was like, you gonna be one. I'm like, what the hell is a rope?
You was a rope, right?
You were here this time and that time. Man, I went there, man. I was the only Airman Basic.
That's what's up.
It was it. I was the only Airman Basic marching people around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So here other funny story about that. So I kept that little certificate. I still got the certificate. I went over to my first base, got the tender. I walked in there. I started throwing all my certificates on the table. I said, yeah, look at that. Look at that right there, huh? Hey, that cat took that paper. He's like, what the hell that mean? Green who? Get out of here.
Man, Chief Hogan gave me hell to this day about being a rope. I ended up making yellow rope, but he was like, man, he said, I've been there longer than him. And then next thing you know, here this dude popping up with a green rope, yelling at everybody, telling everybody what to do. I'm like, I was not yelling at you. He gave me hell about that all the time. To this day, he give me hell about that.
Yeah, I was smooth with it, though. I was just smooth. But they just get mad at me because I wasn't a yellow. I was just smooth. The march cast around, you know what I'm saying? I'm probably one of the coolest green rope. I caught people having sex in the day room and let them go.
Oh, no.
Hey, y'all go ahead, I was easy going, man. I'm like, man, I'm trying to get out of here. I didn't even want to be a green rope. This cat made me be a green rope. But I was proud of my little paper today. When I first got to my first bait, the AC said, hey, get out of here with that. That ain't worth 2 cents. Like,
haters, man. They was just hating.
Yeah, man, they was hating, man. So, next question. You know what I'm saying? As an active duty member right now, this is a little touchy question. You can answer, you don't want to answer, that's fine. It's on you. As an active duty member right now, what do you think about the Army officer who was arrested and pepper sprayed in VA?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a tough one. I will say, I saw the video. I remember when that happened and that came out on the news. I remember seeing the video of it. It was heartbreaking to see it, you know. And I think what really, really got me when the actual pepper spray went in his face, and you could see that affecting him. I was like, wow, you got to be kidding me. I mean, like the guys in uniform,
In uniform.
in uniform, man. It was heartbreaking, man. I say this every time I think that we are making, and we are making progress, but every time I think we're making significant progress, I'm reminded of how far we still have to go, man.
Mm-hmm.
It is it is something that I empathize with in a way because I've driven these highways sometimes at night. I prefer if I take trips um, to leave early in the morning, and that way when I'm on the road most of the time, most of my drive throughout the day. It takes me about 10 hours to get to Chicago, uh, and I know I got to traverse these Kansas highways. Um, and getting through Kansas, I'm going through Missouri. Going through Missouri, I'm ended up through Iowa. And so you see Trump flags, all over the place, and so what part of the country you're going through, and at the end of the day, man, hell, I was talking to my barber. As a matter of fact, he was telling me a story about a captain here in Wichita that was stationed right here. He says he believes it happened around 2003 or something like that, and they found him dead in Oklahoma. And they pulled his car to the river. I guess so he was driving at night, and some guys had stopped him and got to him, and they killed him and threw his car in the river. You know, so man, this was like as early as it's 2003, and then this incident, man. I'm telling you right now, like personally, I take it very seriously when I'm on these roads, man. If it starts getting dark, we're gonna go to a hotel. We're gonna stop. We're gonna sleep. I'm not gonna be on these roads going through some of these these 2 lane roads on these highways, man. At night by myself. To the point is I have a gun, and it's illegal to carry it here in Kansas, but I don't carry mine. I don't carry mine because if I was to get pulled over, hey, do you have a weapon in the car? Yes, sir. I have a gun here in the glove box. All right, can you get the gun? Can I see? Pop, 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 pop. Yeah. And I'm out. And the story is he had a gun in the car and reached for a weapon. Oh. Where maybe I was asked to get the weapon. I don't even want to take no chances. A gun, so I don't even have it in there. So we have to kind of be strategic about our movements, man. And this is real. And I think the Air Force is doing a good job at listening to stories like these. I've had an officer actually tell me a story of a friend of his, and these were 2 colonels, and one's black, one's white. And he told me the story that one time they got pulled over, and he looked over. The cop was the white officer was driving, and the black officer was in the passenger seat. They was going to some kind of conference together. And when the cop pulled him over, he was like, "Yes, sir. Did I do anything wrong?" He was like, "Yeah, see your license and registration." And the black guy was just sitting, like still, like I'm not doing anything. And he didn't understand why he was so still and not moving. And he told me, "Look, man, I don't play." They treat us different, So I don't play. I stay still. I keep my hands where they can see him. I mean, he was just so, and he didn't understand like why he was the way that he was. And then he realized after they were done, they talked to the officer and they drive off. They started to have that conversation, and he didn't realize that, man, I didn't know that like these are 2 completely different experiences that you get treated this way, and that you have to go about handling yourself this way. Because when I get stopped, I just, hey, how's it going? Hey, is everything okay? Yeah, no, having a conversation like 2 normal adults. We don't have those conversations when we get pulled over by the police. You don't get that same level of professionalism and that same level of courtesy. It's what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it. And if you don't do what I tell you to do, you're gonna be dead.
That's it.
And I seen that many times coming up in Chicago. You don't say a crossword. You don't do anything that make any sudden movements, because if you do, I mean, it's like give me a reason, and I'm gonna show you. And at the end of the day, man, I think about what would I have done? Would I have pulled over on a dark road? Or would I have wanted to go to some place that was well lit? I'm prepared right now to this day. If I get pulled over, bloop, press the button. All right, hey officer, how you doing? We Facebook Live right now. How's it going? We Facebook Live
me
right
too. Hey, me
right
too. I'm ready.
now. We live. But at the end of the day, what if we're in a position and we someplace and we out on a dark road and and nobody can see you, nobody knows where you at, and I think on the one hand he was in that position and he said, hey, look, I'm gonna drive. They didn't say he threw anything out the window. He drove a little further than stop where he needed to, and I can understand why a police officer would say, why didn't you stop? I get it. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But I can also understand a man saying, man, I'm in the middle of nowhere, driving through rural Virginia, I'm gonna go up a little bit further and get to this gas station and I'll pull over up here. But
I would do the same thing. I'm with it.
To be honest, I probably would have wanted to do the same thing, man, as opposed to pulling over in the dark. And here's the deal, man. It's really ultimately an issue of trust, right? And when it boils down to trust, well, who do you trust? Do you trust somebody? How do you trust? You trust based off of a relationship and based off of experiences. And so if I trust you, I am either, number one, giving you the benefit of the doubt because this is a first experience. So I'm going to trust you to see what you do with this rope I give you, or you have a history of being trustworthy, and so I trust you because you've proven yourself over and over again to be trustworthy. If I don't trust you, then something about you have done something or said something, behaved in a way to where there is no way in the world I'm going to put.
And you back. And you chopped off there for a little bit, so you got to repeat kind of what you said because you kind of chopped off.
Yeah. So if I trust you, then you have done something to prove yourself to be trustworthy. Yeah. You have, maybe I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you haven't proven yourself to be trustworthy yet, but you haven't done anything for me not to trust you. Yeah. So I'll give you that benefit of the doubt up front, and see what you do with it, right? But if I don't trust you off the bat, then I don't trust you because you have done something, said something, behaved in a way to where I know I'm not going to put my money, I'm not going to put my life, my family's life in your hands because I have no idea what you're going to do with it because you or your crew has a history of doing stupid shit. Sorry. So at the end of the day, this is a situation, man, that is not easy. As you see it across our country, man, with the murders, and all of the crazy stuff that's going on, man. I will say that my biggest thing is for folks to just be aware, and as folks period, just Americans period, to just be aware. There's and I'm glad the Air Force is having these discussions and it's getting people to pay attention to diversity and inclusion, and some of these extremist groups that are out here. Because if you have the knowledge and you're armed with the information and the knowledge of what's going on, that's just one part. But then with the knowledge, hopefully you get the understanding. And if understanding comes from listening, not just taking what you feel to be, and taking your thought process. If you've never been through the inner city, if you've never been in the position or had these experiences, listen to the people who are telling you what their experiences are. Pay attention, right? I've gone through some of these rural areas, man, where the John Deere tractors are sitting out there, and you see the silos and people out there, man, really not living much better than what I lived in the city. In the hood, to be perfectly honest, are living better in some situations than some other folks. And I'm talking about there's some poor folks out here that are black and that are white and it's poor people out here, right? So when a person says, well, I grew up poor and nobody gave me anything too, I kind of get it. I understand what they're saying because you're right. I've been through some of these communities, man, where they are poor. Yep, they have to work their behinds off to get every single thing that they got, you know. But in listening, I understand you. I got you. I understand why you're saying what you're saying. But now, do you understand the other side, right? Do you understand the other side? They're poor too, right? Maybe they're growing up in the inner city, but the difference is you have never been mistreated solely because of the color of your skin.
No.
Yes, you may be poor. You may have had to work for every single thing that it is that you had to work for. You busted your butt. So have they. But because of the color of their skin, they're going to be treated differently. And you're going to be treated differently just from skin color. So off jump, man. When I walk through the door and maybe another partner of mine walks through the door and he's white, off jump, hell, I deal with partner, man, my wife. We go places all the time, you know, and there are times, man, and she feels it sometimes where it's like, oh, stop the presses, hold up. Everybody gets quiet, looking, oh, you know what I'm saying? You feel that, man. You know, you feel that. And so at the end of and what is it about? You know, what is it about? My skin color was different. You know, I've been given the red carpet may be rolled out, hey, keys to the castle, here you go. So we got a problem, man, in this country. It's gotten better for us over the years. Of course, there's some things that are different, but there's so many things that have changed that have not changed, man. And it's these discussions that happens around our dinner tables. No matter what we are, what color we are, whether we black or white, man, we have to have the discussions around the dinner table. And those discussions, man, if you got a parent that's telling you to hell with white people, that I hate them all, you need to correct your parent. I'm sorry.
Correct them.
You need to correct your parent. Hey, we'll never get nowhere with this. And I get it. I understand. Maybe you hate them because they did something to you, but it ain't all of them, right? Because for any bad experience I can tell you I may have had with somebody that might be white, I could tell you a bad experience I had with somebody that's black. So any experience I could tell you.
Amen. Same here.
Any racist remarks that I could tell you that I've heard come out of the mouths of white people. I've heard racist remarks come out of the mouths of black people. Anytime that I can tell you a black person has done as many experiences, I can tell you that someone that has been black has done something positive and good for me. Man, I know some white folks that have been like family to me, man, and have put their necks out there for me and have opened their doors and their dinner tables and to me, you know. So you don't open your doors and break bread and give your family's food to somebody you ain't rocking with, right? If I ain't rocking with you, you ain't coming to my house. That's just the way it is, you know. So if I bring you into my door and share my food with you, you somebody that I respect. So I think we get there, man, by listening to each other, trying to do the best we can to understand each other. But ultimately, man, it's about being a good example. And so I think if we just do the best we can to be good examples, you got to be the change you want to see in the world, right? So if we want this to change, if we want this to get better, man, I think at the very least, we have to just be the best examples we can be, man, in this thing. Yeah, it's sad, and but we just got to keep on doing what we do. We got to keep on using our voices. We got to keep speaking up, speaking out, standing up. I'm going to Tulsa for the 100th year remembrance ceremony of the tragedy that happened there on the 31st of May in 1921 when they burned down.
Is that Black Wall Street?
Green, yeah, Black Wall Street. So I'm going down there for the candlelight vigil that they're gonna have, you know. And this is the thing we got to do, man. We got to keep on reminding folks, keep on telling our stories, you know, keep on letting folks know that we matter. Yep, you matter too, but we matter, you know. And guess what? If it's a situation where cops are mowing you down and they spraying pepper spray in your face, we gonna be right there to support you if it's wrong, you know. And we just asking for that same support and that same respect. When our people are being wronged and our people are being harmed, we ask for that same respect. And we do have folks that don't share the same color of our skin on the front lines with black people in this country trying to make a difference for us. So it's a united effort, but there are still those voices out there, man, and those people out there that don't give two damns about us. and we just got to continue to be our best selves and work with those who are willing to work with us, man, and making America better.
I agree, man. Like, you know, me and my girl, we had we have tough conversations all the time, and we don't experience some things, probably some of the same stuff you don't experience here and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you know, for me, I'm like, look, you know, I love all people. I've always been open to all kind of things. I've heard, just like you said, just as many negative things I've heard positive things. I can say that through my history and my career, that there's 2 reasons I was a chief. People that mentored me and looked out for me and letter recommendations and did what they had to do for me on the reserve side to get to where I got to. Number one, Chief Alton Robinson.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? My man, Alton Robinson, he didn't have to write no letters to me. He didn't have to do nothing for me. But he did. You know what I'm saying? Chief Denny Heitman. Every time I call Chief Heitman up all the time, hey, you okay? Just to check on him because he was a good man to me. You know what I'm saying? And I watched what he did. And if I could be half the chief that he is, and I'm doing a good job. I mean, as a military chief and as a fire chief, I watched this cat on all levels and what kind of person he is and how he carries himself. So I knew that's who I wanted to be. Like I said, just as many bad people as I ran into, as I ran into just as many good people on both sides and both colors. And when I'm in the firehouse, people come up with these real questions they want to ask. I don't care, civilian, military, I tell them the exact same thing. Look, man, the biggest thing is I ask questions, when the last time you had anybody of a different color to your house to eat? When the last time you had somebody of a different color over your house? Black man, when the last time you had somebody of a different color over your house? I don't know. There's your problem right there. Y'all don't even know each other. You don't know nothing about each other's culture. You sitting right guessing what the other person thinks. You don't even know about the other person's culture. So first off, you already making assumptions. You basing your opinions on nothing because you don't have anything to go off of. Why don't you take the time to get to know what that man feels? We had this diversity training stuff going on, so I was in a big circle of guys, and we had to do it with the commander and everything. Yeah. And I was sitting there, the fire chief sitting next to me. I'm sitting there, and they was like, you know, and I told my story. I said, man, for me, growing up, the police officers like the boogeyman. Man, you could have heard a pin drop. It was all like, oh, what? The fire chief next to me like, what? There you go. That explains why. That does explain some things, doesn't it? If you growing up and you somebody teaching you officer friendly, but when you go to the neighborhood, that ain't officer friendly. Man. He ain't officer friendly, just beat my cousin in the head. Officer friendly, that's not a whistle. That's not a play whistle. Man that walks around and talks to you. That officer friendly was a totally different person that I knew. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a different experience. Just get to know each other. Communication goes a long way.
So I ended up having one of my young airmen when we started having these discussions for the first time, and I going around the room just talking about where folks are from and everything. And so one of my young guys, he's from Hudson, Iowa, right? And so another one of my young guys is from New York. And so I asked the cat from New York, I said, so look, man, I asked Hudson, Iowa, I said, so look, what do you think about New York? What do you think it's like there? So he said, what do you think, how you think you'll be treated if you was in his area, in Brooklyn or whatever? He's like, I don't know, probably, I don't know. I really don't know. Might be kind of tough, there, I said, okay. I said, is he right? And so he was like, yeah, he's a little right. It's kind of some areas it's kind of tough and all that. He said, but there's some nice areas there too. Mm-hmm. I said, hey, tell me about Hudson, Iowa. What do you think about Hudson, Iowa? He says probably like a lot of white people there. Probably. I said, what do you think it'd be like if you went to the store? Like, you think they'd be looking at you crazy, or you think you'd be able to go in there and just get what you want freely? He said, no, I probably would get some crazy looks, And so then Hudson, Iowa looks at him and goes, not because you're black, because they don't know you. He was like, just because they wouldn't know you. Now he got a town that's less than a few hundred people, a few hundred people. So everybody knows each other in the town. Yeah. So it wouldn't be because you're black, but it would be because everybody knows everybody and they wouldn't know. And so I was like, wow, okay. But they got to talking to each other, man, and just listening, man. We had some phenomenal discussions. The young man came in afterwards and sat down with me and said, man, he said, he said, that is probably one of the best conversations at work that I have probably had. He said, and we just all got to kind of talk to each other and got to know each other. I said, man, that is what it's about. Now he's separated from the Air Force, but he's still doing great. We knew he was going to separate. He has plans, and he's back in Hudson, Iowa. But I told him, I said, man, you got me actually want to come to Hudson and actually get to see what Hudson is all about. He said, you're always welcome. But he talked to his parents about our discussion, and they were happy, man, that this kid was lit up because somebody took the time to get to know him, know where he's from, and he got to do that with somebody else. That's how we do this thing, man. Is to, just like you said, hey, have you met someone where you just talking out of the side of your neck? What you talking about? What you saying about the city? Have you ever been there? You know, have you ever been in the neighborhood? You don't know, so you don't know what you're talking about. You know, but then on our side too, man.
Yeah.
We ain't never been. You know, you ain't never. Have you ever been on a farm? Have you ever been? Have you ever drive a John Deere tractor trailer? Have you ever? Do you know what what life is like on that side? And if we don't get, but I will say, man, there's people that don't even want us to be able to do that.
That's what's sad about it.
There's people that don't even want that to happen. It's folks that want us on our separate sides of the ring, man, and don't want us mixing it up with each other. So at the end, I think we gotta be understanding of that as well. We gotta recognize that part as well, and just move forward with our mission. And so if our mission is to get to know each other and understand each other, there's a way we can do that. You work with those who want to work with you. No different than the music, right? This thing ain't for everybody, right? And so if it ain't for you, then go ahead, then you be your way, I'll be my way. But for those who do want to work and who do want to understand, leadership sets the tone, man. And I truly believe that in the military, we breed the best leaders, man. Period. Like out there. Because you think about it, man, they're leaders in working in Fortune 500 companies. Guaranteed, they're leaders up in Microsoft and Google and Apple. They got leaders, but we get the same type of leadership training, but we also tasked with trying to help protect a military mission and keep a nation safe. Right? We put our lives on the line. So at the end of the day, when we go back to civilian life, man, we know how to do this thing, man. But too many of us go back to our separate corners, man, and act like we never killed it together. You know, we never was downrange and made things happen together. We do this together. Blacks, whites, Asians, Hispanic, you name it. Some not even U.S. citizens wear a uniform, man. And they getting after it just like we are. We taking care of business. So you mean to tell me we can't lead this? So when we take this uniform off and we head back to civilian life, man, we already know how to make it happen. We stop working together. So we just got to continue to work together, man, and remember what the lessons that we learned when we was wearing the suit, you know. And I think we can help lead this, man. But man, it broke my heart to see that we have military people on the Capitol, man, on the wrong side of this thing. You know, folks who have been in the service, man, on the wrong side of this thing, man. And it's like, we just got to get on the right side of it, man. But
real quick, man. You know the truth. So you got a lot of comments down here, man. And I'm just going to throw some out there. You don't even know. You got a whole bunch of good comments down here, though. But, you know, one said, you know, you work to get it. You work harder to keep it. You know, talking about, you know, being in the, you know, military and you know, and just getting to the positions that you get to, man. You work hard to get it. You work even harder to keep it. And then, you know, black farmers exist too.
I love that. But I love that. And I know that, you know, and so who we got, my brother Kelvin.
You can see it too, right? There you go, yeah.
We do. And I wish we had a lot more. We need a lot more black farmers out there, man. But that's another thing, man. And I'm glad he wrote that. How many of us know what it takes, you know, to run a farm? You know, I go to the grocery store and get my food, man. I would love to be able to know how to farm, man. We just put our first pots together. I think my wife got some stuff she growing out on the front.
Hey, I ain't got no green thumb. Everything turned brown on my
got some peppers. I think she's doing some peppers or something out there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Black farmers exist too, and that's true. But when I'm specifically referring to like some of these areas that I drive through. You know, where you see, you know, you kind of know the lay of the land, and yeah, absolutely, we do need to make sure that we educate it and that we talking to each other and that we putting the word out. And yeah, and I think that's how we get over this thing, man.
Yeah, man. And the thing is, especially in leadership, man, you know what I mean? I always tell dudes, they ask me I give people two advices when they become a CNCO and then when they become chief. You know, first one I give when you become a CNCO, I say don't believe the hype. That's the beginning. Because when you first become a CNCO, oh, I'm the man, I'm the C, I got these, oh, I'm the CNCO, oh my God, I can walk on water. They need me. Don't believe your hype. Whatever they're telling you, think that it's not really true. Because they're going to tell you whatever they tell you until you get in trouble. And then they be like, well, let me take that little stripe, that stripe you got, back to NCO, there you go. Then you make senior, you in the same boat. But by the time you make chief, I say once you make chief master sergeant, you've been given an opportunity. They don't say 1% for no reason. What you doing? Ain't no E10. So at this point, your only position is to give back to people and help other people and spread and foster that communication. You're a counselor. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're the police officer sometimes with people. You know, you're the judge and the jury when you become a certain, you know, at a point. So you got a lot of power. And with that power, do something with that power. And when you get out, you become fire chief, or you're in some kind of position of authority, you do something with that too. You know what I mean? You foster these communications. You get people to talk and have conversations about things that who normally wouldn't talk with exactly what you did. It's why I said you're an outstanding person to be a chief. You deserve it. You got it. And you're there for a reason. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why you on this show. That's why we here talking. We having these conversations because and that's why I wanted to have this show. I was brought to me by MRKSX, the dude from I say was in Dakota. He said, hey man, I was riding one day in my car, I was in Miami checking on my family. He was like, yo man, I got this idea. I think you should do this, man. You know what I mean? Who can say they love hip hop? They've been true to the game, the hip hop, and they're chief. You got so much you can talk to the people about. And that's why I decided to do this show, to bring people, like I said, bring people like you on, you know, and I thought about people, like I said earlier, I thought about people like you who have stories out there that's chiefs, the senior master sergeant, that's the CNCO, NCO. They, you know, they got stories to tell. And this is some deep stuff here, man, to be able to, you know, like I said, be able to foster those kind of conversations, man, because like I said, we don't know each other. We don't really have any idea of what the other side is feeling until somebody open their mouth and say it. And it's like, oh, you really feel like that? Yeah, I really feel like that.
Yeah. But how many times, man, remember when we was coming up, man, a lot of people weren't trying to hear what we had to say, man. I remember many a times, can I speak freely with tears welling up in my eyes? Can I speak freely? No, shut up. You want to listen. Man, you can't tell that to some kid just fresh off the streets of Chicago, man, and you fresh into the military. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
I'm gonna snap. I don't know how to handle that, man. Well, if it wasn't for folks pulling me to the side going, we got to talk to him, you know, and talking to me and telling me, hey, man, this is how this game works. This is how you play this game. Man, you can't open your mouth like that.
Can't come like that.
You know, and I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I'm just like, man, you see young cats, man, come from the city, and you try to say something to them. You know, when you get hit with that, like, look, that's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, man. Like what?
Like,
you know what I'm saying? What? Yeah, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Many times when I was young and I had a chip, I like to say I had a chip on my shoulder, man. But you taught how to survive, and you taught how to overcome certain situations. When somebody come and challenge you, you know, you step up, you stand up, you put your chest out. You put them guards up. And a lot of reasons, man, why a lot of us shut down is because folks don't understand that that's how we built, you know. We didn't get timeouts. We didn't get
we fought. Every day was a fight. I saw a fight every day I was in school. Let me make this clear to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those who don't understand. When I was growing up, every minute there was a fight. There was a fight every block. Every day I saw somebody fight. So I come into this world, well, let's talk about it. Talk about what? I know what to talk about. I'm gonna punch you in your mouth. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna tell you about. That's where I come from, and that's what 90% of a lot of black young people, they come from situations like that. So they have to learn.
Yes. Yeah, we like, okay, well, I'm gonna just shut down. Do my job. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Nothing else to say.
And you done lost the individual. Because you don't understand the individual. And that's another one of the reasons why I'm glad that the diversity and the inclusion discussion is taking place in the Air Force right now. Absolutely.
Hey, down at the bottom, he just wrote something down. Do you want to answer that?
Let's see. He says, what advice would you give to a younger airman who reminds you of exactly the airman you were at that age? I would actually tell a young man, a young airman, hey, look, you know, for me personally, I had to. It was the mentors. It was the coaches and the people that was actually doing it. And it says people out there that's doing it and that's doing it right, and they want to help, right? A real mentor, a true leader, wants to help you. So what I would get, the advice I would give, and I didn't always do this. It took me some years to be able to gain the courage to do this. It's crazy because I consider it as courage, but I always thought I was tough back then. But I didn't have the courage to go to someone and say, hey, look, I don't understand this Air Force thing. This is a challenge for me because I came up and this is how I was kind of raised in the environment I was in, and I'm having a little trouble adjusting. Can you help me? And man, if you go to a leader and go to somebody that you think you might be able to trust, if you go to a leader with that, man, I don't know, Pat, you can agree with me, back me up on this.
I will.
Would you have turned somebody away that came to you and said that? Absolutely
never,
not.
Never.
Sometimes, a lot of times we wait for our mentors to come to us. I had a young man tell me recently, I asked him who was his mentors. He said, well, he said his supervisor's name. He said, and you, that's really it. I was like, oh, I didn't even know. I mentor, capital M, a lot of women, right? But when it comes to mentorship, I truly believe that you need to go out and seek those individuals out and let them know, hey, look, will you mentor me? Because if you don't do that, then really all you'll get a lot of times is that big generic general, hey, I'm here for all of you guys. If y'all need me, let me know. Hey, I'm going to share something with everybody, with the whole group for your benefit. But when that person comes to you and says, will you mentor me? Now, you know, there's ownership. Like, okay, he is asking for opportunities. He's asking for a sit down maybe once a week, you know, once a quarter. And now I'm going to deliberately do what I can to make sure that I'm giving him tips and pointers and trying to find out where it is he's trying to go, what it is he's trying to do. So I would definitely tell those young airmen, look to those individuals who you see are doing the right things, are getting promoted, you know, are taking classes, are crushing it, and go up to them and yank on those coattails a little bit and say, hey, look, man, I see you doing big things. I want to do it. I want to do it too. I got things that I want to do. And maybe you're not going to do it just like them. You know, we both made chief. We didn't make it the same way. I was talking with another chief, he was security forces. He said, our path to chief guarantee is different. You know, he had his path. He's a cop. I have my path. You know, we all have different paths. We all have different people to help us get there. But at the end of the day, man, obviously, I think all of us can say that we had individuals that saw something in us and that helped us along the way. And you named some of yours. I named a couple of mine. There were so many more people that helped me. But I think that's what a young airman has to do today. That was exactly at that spot and at that age I was when I came in. Had I known then, I was lucky that I had people say, we got to grab him and teach him before he self-destructs. If I knew then what I know now, I would have went to them and said, hey, look, help me figure this Air Force thing out. I'm having a tough time making this transition. I don't know what I want to do. I feel like everybody's coming at me. I feel like, I can't be myself. Like I'm losing myself. You know, this ain't how I'm going against the grain. Help me figure this thing out. And if you do that and you talking to the right people, don't go to the knuckleheads, man. I'm telling you, I hung around plenty of those. Plenty of those. Go to the folks that are crushing it, that are seeing success in their careers, not the people that are standing still, that ain't getting promoted year after year after year. And it's like, oh man, you ain't got to do that. Why you doing that? Oh, that's stupid. Man, I ain't listening to that dude. Oh man, I know he told us to do this, but man, he don't know what he's talking about. Avoid those individuals, man. You can be friendly with those individuals, but those can't be the folks that you fed from. So who's feeding you? And what are you being fed? And if you're being fed a bunch of negativity Negativity is one thing. It sets you back. Something that's stale, you just stay in the same. You know, if it's stale, don't taste good, leave it alone. If it's negative, it's gonna set you back. Leave it alone. You want people that's gonna help propel you forward, and find those people and just grab their coattails. They're gonna take you with them.
Yeah, man. My guy who took, my best friend to this for life to this day, my Chi-Town man, our solo was the one, Tavares Lowry was to set me down. He had a couple of years ahead of me. And so he had been in the military since 93. I came in 96. So he had already had that. So when I came in the door, I was like, yeah, I'm knuckle up. And he was like, nah, you can't knuckle up. Get this PFE right here. You can learn some of this. And so that kind of changed my direction because I didn't know. But he knew. He's like, man, you need to do this, man. You ain't going to beat these cats like this. And so I became very good at reading AFIs. I know how to get in the books. I know how to learn. And that's how I kind of, you always need somebody in the beginning to kind of lead you. I didn't really have no NCOs or nobody because I really didn't know a whole lot. I just had a bunch of people that was around me. I didn't never see nobody who really looked like me until I got a little further up in grade. But at the time, that's what it was. He was the person I knew. And he was like, yo, you need to get this PFE. He gave me, he knew it. He gave me what he knew. Read this PFE. And I started reading the PF. I started reading that PME, start reading it out. And, just how you make staff. Just how you make rank. So I started reading. I got deep into that. And that's how I was able to start maneuvering my career a certain way and getting to know how to work in the military work. Now, advice, like he was saying, give advice. You gave yours, I'm going to give mine. My advice to people is the mirror. The mirror is your best friend or your worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? It's going to tell you something. If you want to listen to what the mirror got to say, or you don't want to listen to the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Wise man told me, when you point a finger at somebody, how many pointing back at you? So when you blaming everybody, you saying everybody the reason why you not getting this or why you not getting that, everybody, that person did this, that person did that to me. Really, you should be looking at that man in the mirror. Or that person in the mirror right there. That person in the mirror is a lot of why things happen to people in their lives, so they're not able to really accept who they are and look at themselves and say, hey, I need to make some changes in myself. I had to do that. You know what I'm saying? I had to do that so many times in my life because I was this, you know what I'm saying? But it really was. When I first came out the military, I got a job at Homestead at Reserve Base. I came from Shaw Air Force Base, first run crew pumper, only pumper. I was the man. I was like, man, I'm doing this. They asked me to do this. I'm taking. I was just the man when I was at Shaw Air Force Base. I had to take it. I decided to get out the military. I went down to Homestead at Reserve Base as a GS-5 firefighter. So now I'm back at the bottom. They're trying to tell me, hey, go get this Cartland valve. But what the Cartland valve? You do this. I'm like, man, whatever, man. I did this, and this, and this. You telling me that I did this, and this, and this, and this. Not a liquor humble in my name. Not a liquor. And I wonder why my time there was so hard and I got so much trouble and I wasn't happy at Homestead. It wasn't the people at Homestead. It was the people of Pat. Pat was up here, you know what I'm saying? Looking at telling people I could do this, not, you know what I'm saying? You got to be humble. Sometimes you have to be humble. Look at the man in the mirror. Look at the person in the mirror. You got to start working with yourself and wanting to change who you are. If somebody tell you that you need some change, be willing to listen. Like I said, you point them fingers, 3 pointing back at you. The mirror does not lie. What you see there is what you get every single time when you walk in front of it. So if I had to give some advice to some young people or some young airmen coming in, look at the mirror.
I love it, man. I love it.
I hope that answered your question. You're getting a lot of knowledge up in the day, you know what I'm saying? All right, I'm gonna go. I know we got a lot. We got a couple more to go. So let me run through these real quick, man. I want to take up. We talk forever, man. I want to take up your whole.
I love it, man. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, man. All right. So yeah.
So long as I got coffee, man, I can go.
I'm gonna let you know this is probably the longest one, but it's all right. You know what I'm saying? We go though, but we get good conversations. Ain't no limit to knowledge, and if we give it to somebody, it's all about that knowledge. I'm gonna say this though, going back to this. So you know, I took a picture a little while ago. I don't know if you saw my picture with me in front of the Robert E. Lee statue, that statue. And I had some words I said to some people. What bothered me the most about that, and I can say sometimes we all could be our worst enemies to each other. Instead of us working together to try to be better, sometimes we are our worst enemies against each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking as us as a culture of people. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it don't hurt for me if I see you doing something I think ain't right. As a fellow chief, I'm gonna say retired chief or not. I'm gonna say, hey man, look here, I'm gonna hit you your messenger. Like, look, man, you know what I'm saying? What you doing?
Yeah.
Did you just say that?
Yeah.
You need to take that down off your social media right now. Let's discuss it. I'm gonna hit you up. This is what we do. It should be that way anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I was doing when you see me with that picture, that was a thumb in the nose of all of that. That's what I was really doing. And anybody who knows who I'm about, know that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
Police brutality, Black Lives Matter, all that stuff is a part of all of us, whether we want to admit it or not. You understand what I'm saying? But what we shouldn't be doing is tearing each other down and making fun and saying, you know what? What's that? That's funny. You know what I'm saying? Or it's a joke of doing something, especially a fellow chief. And this came in this instance, it was a fellow chief, retired chief, and retired fire chief. Well, you know, but instead of picking up the phone, I'm storing this and I'm gonna move on to something else. We can help each other a lot in this world and the things we go through by stopping and having that conversation and say, hey, why are you doing the things you're doing? And then you'll find out why that person is doing what he's doing. Like my girl asked me all the time, like, why you walk around like for you don't like to drive at night? I don't like to drive at night either. I got stickers all over my car. There's Chief all over my car. You wonder why Chief all over my car? It's the reason why Chief all over my car. I ask a question, you'll get an answer. Because when the police stop me, I want him to see fire and I want him to see Chief in the back of my car as he's rolling up. And I got both of them back there. And I got an Air Force tag. And I got a firefighter tag back. I got a firefighter tag with an Air Force plate, with Air Force thing around it. Yeah. And it's all reasons why it is what it is and why I do what I do. So like I said, man, sometimes on the other ends we could be our own worst enemies, the way we don't look out for each other. But in other instance, how about we ask questions and figure out why somebody's doing the things they're doing? You might get a logical answer when it's all said and done. So yes, when I was standing in front of the Robert E. Lee statue, I was standing there for a reason. And it's an obvious reason because I'm thumbing my nose at everything that thing stands for. And in Virginia, where I'm at, is the place where this young man in uniform, that was another reason why I did it, because this guy in uniform got pepper sprayed in Virginia, where this statue is. Yeah. So I stood there, had numerous reasons as to why I was doing what I was doing. But if you ask me, I'll tell you. But I don't need no fellow chief or somebody out there trying to, thumb their nose at me. Do like what I would do to my man right here. I would message him on the phone, message him somewhere and say, hey, my man, Chief, what you doing? And he would tell me what he was doing. That's how we do that. I'm moving on.
I'm with you, man. 100%. Yep, I'm with you.
Know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let it go. I'm moving on. I'm gonna let that die today. Do you put it? I guess I asked kind of something like this similar. Do you put any of your military experiences in your music? Getting back to the music.
Yeah. So I have three songs that I can think of. I think for each album, I have like specific military experience in a song on each one of the albums. So I'm very careful. Like I never ever wanted to use the military to promote my music. Mm-hmm. And I never really wanted to use my music to push the military. So I always try to do the best I can to keep them separate. Even if someone from work, because people find out you do music, like here's your album, so it's like even if somebody from work, hey, so Sean Rah-Sool was like, hey man, you see I'm in this uniform right now. I'm Sergeant Russell, I ain't Sean Rah-Sool right now. If you want to talk about the music, maybe we can talk that, but right now we got some work to do. And that was purposeful, man, because I didn't want the lines to be blurred, right? I didn't want folks to be thinking that they talking to the rapper dude, when we at work. No, we got work to do, man. We got a job. I need you to know that when I'm either asking you to do something or we doing something together, man, this is what we doing right now. But when we chilling and we in the day room or with something like that, and you want to now ask me about the music, then go ahead, let's do this. Yeah. Don't ask me to freestyle and nothing like that, or here's some. Let me hear. Go ahead, and spit something. Hey, I got music on iTunes. Go ahead, go ahead, and spin that. As much music as you want from me. But at the end of the day, I have though, obviously, because the music, you tell stories through your music, and so there are experiences and things that you get. So it was inevitable that some of the experiences in the military found its way into some of the songs. So like on my first album, The Showcase, I have a song called Bye Mama, and Monica was playing the guitar on it, man. Nice little acoustic joint, and then I basically the lyrics of Mama Bye, I'm leaving home. Um, Mama Bye, you know, it's like a blues joint. And it says, though I strive to survive, I just can't watch another one of my young brothers die. So Mama Bye, I'm leaving home. You can find me on the road. Um, you can find me on the road. And basically leaving home and going to the military. Um, that's pretty much what the song kind of was about, an individual picking up, packing up, and going off to the military. So we made a nice little blues song, and we called it Bye Mama, you know, because really my mom, she didn't really even believe I was going to the military. And, and so up until the day I left, she didn't believe I was going. And then finally, I had my bags packed, and then I rolled out. And so leaving home for me, it was tough. It was a struggle because I was leaving my family who I loved dearly behind. You know, I haven't lived in the house there since I left. You know, 25 years later. You know, I'm like I'm not home no more. You know, so so that song was kind of touching, and at the end of the song, you know, it says, if by chance I don't return, you know, have no fear, I did my best while I was here. You know, so that was a little ode to taking off and joining. And then on the second album, I did a song called The Next Soldier, and it's kind of a Bob Marley inspired kind of reggae type joint, you know, where I try to mimic this reggae voice. And you know, the question that the song poses, who will be the next soldier to die in the war? And so the lyrics go, sign my name on the dotted line in 1995. Never knew that 10 years down the line, I'd be fighting to stay alive. Now I'm here on this battlefield, brave yet afraid to die, far away from my wife and my child, unaware that soon will I be the next soldier to die in the war. Now I was deployed at the time when I wrote that song. I didn't know if I was going to die or not in the war, but at the end of the day, you know, there were people dying, you know, and so I kind of took my experience, but also intertwined it with the experiences of others who were actually losing their lives. And, you know, none of them took off thinking that they were going to pay the ultimate sacrifice, but a lot of them did, you know. And that's just the tragedy of war, is that we all come in to serve and do our jobs, and sometimes we pay the ultimate sacrifice, not knowing that, you know, that is actually that it will happen that day. You know, I don't think any folks that it happened to knew that morning when they were getting up that they were going, or that night when they were getting up and posting up that was going to happen. You know, but at the end of the day, that was why I put that song together. And then the last one that I did is from the Prodigal Son album, and I have a song called How I Feel, and that song kind of talks about a young man that took off and fought and went to battle, did all of these different things, and then he came home and he died. But it kind of compares two stories: the stories of a young man who's fighting a battle, tying up his tin boots, you know, and he's fighting a battle at home, and then another one that's actually fighting a battle, tying up his combat boots, and then he comes home and gets killed, you know, but he made it through the war, but comes home and gets killed, you know. So yeah, all of those three songs from three different albums, all kind of tied in military experiences to kind of paint a picture.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's deep, man. Like I said, I don't talk a lot. Sometimes I say some stuff. A lot of it, you know, I might, you know, throw some stuff in there. You know, a lot of people put a lot more stuff of you know, the military in their music. My stuff is always about generalized things, like some place I've been, what I really kind of like, you know, a lot of time I talk about Panama. Like I said, that's one of my favorite assignments that I ever went. The whole time I was in the military, that was one of my favorite ones. Or I go back to Osan, talk about something like that. It depends on what I'm, you know, what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking. But not a lot, you know. I think when I was in Osan, when I was doing shows, and I was doing stuff when I was over in Osan, I think a lot of my music was touching on what I was experiencing. So you might hear me talking about my four, you know what I'm saying? I might be talking about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think. I had one verse when I'm like, hey, damn, I can't think of the damn verse. I thought I was thinking about it the other day when I was talking about an aerial attack. I said, damn, man, it's gonna hit me when I ain't thinking about it. My verse, you know, I wrote it when it was on the album that me and my friends did when we was in Korea, man. I love that song. I was like, damn, that's one of my coldest verses too. And I was just singing it the other day. I was like, damn, I still remember this verse. And now when I'm trying to think about it, like, damn, I can't remember the damn verse.
Spit it when it hits you, man. When it hits you.
Man, I'm like, damn, I can't believe it. I can't remember the damn verse. Damn, I can't think of it right now. But I know we talking about rucksacks and aerial attacks and stuff like that. Mach 4. I was going in about all the stuff I was experiencing at the time. And I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I really went in on this song. But I just placed everything that we was going through was, I don't know if did you say, you've been to Korea, so you know how that go. I don't know if they still doing the same things over in Korea, but my God, man.
It's changed a lot. Yeah, it's changed a lot. Yeah, I heard about all the horror stories over there.
Yeah. I got it, and I think I break down all doors. I'm legendary like the Moors. It's mathematics. But I'm over most cats' heads I saw. Synthetic, pathetic, hip-hop slasher. You better call the paramedics. Don't let it be an all-out war. But camouflage fallout, get ready for Mach 4 with the aerial and the ground attack. Andromeda night vision, Tech 9, M9s, and Mike stuck up in my rucksack.
Nice, man.
Yeah. I was going in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It just hit me. I'm like, that's it right there.
They call it just like that. There it is.
Just like that. It came back like, damn, there it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. My next question, man, is, dealing with the Shy again, man. What do you think about the current gang violence and the crime and all that stuff that you see on the news? I'm not immersed in that culture now. I know what's going on in Miami. I can tell you about the poking beans in Miami. I can tell you about what's going on in Liberty City, Opelika, and where I'm from when I go home. What you think about what you got going on with the gang violence and some of the crime that's going on in the Chi right now?
Yeah, man. So to really understand, man, what's going on in Chicago when it comes to gangs, man, you got to really understand the history of the city. And so I'm gonna tell you, don't believe the hype, man. A lot of the things that they showing you on the television, even though as tough as it is, and as tragic as it is, there's still a whole lot of things that they choosing not to show you. So, for example, when I went home one time, my nephew was graduating from high school, and in his high school, it was an all-male school, and in that school, there was 115 black male students that all graduated. The beauty of this is that every single one of them was accepted to college. 115 black male students, all from the inner cities, by the way, accepted to universities, right? Is that news? What do you think?
I think that's news. I definitely want to hear that.
And there was about 3 other good news stories, really big good news stories that occurred that weekend, and none of those made the news. What did make the news was 3 murders that happened in the city, a city with millions of people, right? And so not to excuse and say that the murders weren't newsworthy, but that's what the news channels chose to air, right? As though that's all that's going on in the city, right? So so at the end of the day, don't believe the hype, but there is a problem. I don't say that to say that there's no problems. There's great things going on in Chicago, but there's a lot of bad things going on in this city as well. Yeah. So the city was founded in 1930s, the late 1930s. At the time, it was probably maybe about 6,000 people in Chicago. By the time you get to the 1850s, you got probably about 80,000 people in the city. Mm-hmm. Around that time, you got organized crime starting to take off. Well, organized crime, for the most part, was Italian mafia, right? So you got to go to 1910. You got the outfit is founded, right? Capone ended up taking over the outfit. But back in 1910, when the outfit kind of started, man, you got all kinds of organized crime, killings all over territory. This stuff wasn't going on in our communities, right? was happening all over the city, but this was an Italian mob that was, no kidding. They ran the city. It was very corrupt, at the time. They had the mayor in their pocket and politicians in their pocket, So at the end of the day, though, man, fast forward to the 60s. I mean, we talking about decades of organized crime in the city, damn near since the founding of the city. And the neighborhoods are very they're very divided, right? So you got blacks live in certain areas, you got Jewish individuals live in certain areas, you got the Italians, the Greek town, Chinatown, Little Italy. You got all of these different neighborhoods all throughout the city, very divided, right? And so even though segregation ain't legal, there's a lot of redlining, and districts are split up, and neighborhoods are divided. So you do have segregation, but it's not Jim Crow segregation, right? But then you take the 60s, man, and of course, 65, 68, you lose Martin Luther King, Malcolm X in those years. But what was going on prior to that? In the 40s, during the Jim Crow South, you want to talk about the migration when blacks came from the South coming to the North to find better lives for themselves. I mean, my family came from Birmingham, Alabama, and Columbia, Tennessee. Grandfather's side came from Columbia, Tennessee. Grandmother's side came from, grandfather's side comes from Birmingham. Grandmother's side comes from Columbia, Tennessee, and they end up meeting each other in Chicago. But both two families that came looking for better lives, right? And so you got people building communities, whether that's in Hyde Park or different other areas of the city, trying to make lives for themselves. In the 60s, man, people was talking about Black Power, standing up, getting yourself together. There was a lot of oppression, a lot of things that our ancestors have fought for in the civil rights movement, man. We're making progress, right? And then you get Malcolm X, you get Martin Luther King killed, you get Fred Hampton, who at the time was trying to do some things in the city with the Black Panthers. I'm actually reading
that movie on point, though. If you ain't seen it,
reading the book.
Have you seen that movie? You seen that movie yet?
I have seen the movie, man, but I mean, there was a lot of things that folks were trying to do to empower Black people in this in the city, and then of course he was assassinated in 1969. So what happens then, right? Once he's murdered, now comes in the 70s, and we start to see gang violence, drugs into the community like never before, right? And territory starting to set up, and man, I mean, from the 70s, then you got to the cocaine era hit, and then you got the right after the cocaine era, we move into the crack cocaine era, so now you got these young cats out here, man, and how the drugs are getting in. We ain't flying to Bolivia and to Colombia to get them and bring them in. So, but here's a reality. You got an 18-year-old, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid making millions by just selling this stuff or delivering this weight or dropping off these packages.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard for anybody to say no to and turn down, right?
No. Yeah.
So we've gone decades, man, with this drug and gang culture plaguing the city, but it's not new to the city. What's happening now was happening in the 90s, was happening in the 80s when I was there. Folks shooting, you gotta lay down. We went to living in Chicago. We moved in my house in 75, the house I grew up in 79, right? And I remember us being able to sit out on the porch. The majority of the people in the neighborhood were white at the time. We were one of the first Black families to move into the neighborhood, but eventually more and more white people started moving out of the neighborhood, right? But I remember being able to go there and lay out on the porch, on the front porch, my grandmother's front porch, and us turning the TV on and putting sleeping bags and cots out and sleeping out there, having a great time, to eventually bullets being fired off in the neighborhood and us not being able to lay out there no more, and laying down on the floor because you hear gunshots and everybody down, when the gunshots in and everybody, okay, all right, let's get up. We went from living in a fairly decent neighborhood to the neighborhood being overrun by drugs and crime and gangs, so it's been that way for many years. You go back to the 60s and before the 60s, where there was the mob with the Tommy guns shooting people up. Chicago has had a history of gang culture since the beginning of the city. So I don't think that it is anything that is going to be able to be fixed overnight. To be honest, I think the politicians, no different than you see in the political climate right now in our country, where folks just aren't able to talk to each other and get along. I think the politicians in Chicago, a lot of times in the city, and politics is huge. It's a monster in the city, and I think with individuals in Chicago, if they were willing to work with each other, we could truly see a change. They have some of the toughest gun laws in the country, but obviously that's not solving the problem. I mean, when I was a shorty, I had a gun. You know how I got one? I asked for one. Hey, I need a gun. Oh, here you go. 357. Beautiful. Nice. Nickname.
I got a story like that too.
Nickname Clint Eastwood. Nickname Clint Eastwood. But at the end of the day, I asked for it, man. The guns all over, all over the city. So nobody care about no gun laws. They don't care in the city. So how do you fix the problem, man? Number one, I think the politicians need to work together with the police department, and the police department and the politicians need to work with members in the community, man. And I think this is a young person's problem too. We need to find those young leaders and listen to these young folks that are out here, man, because this ain't gonna be a bunch of old people trying to enforce things and instill their will on the young. This is gonna be something that the young are gonna have to be very much involved in order for us to turn this thing around, because their culture, man, exists to where they think a guy like me is a lame.
Yeah.
Look, hey, man, I got a job. I'm cool. I don't even live to talk somewhere, Ain't nobody listening to me, but if I go home, I need to be listening to them and trying to figure out a way to connect with them to make sure that they that they know that I got their back and that I can help them and support them. And I'm listening. I'm willing to listen. But if you ain't willing to listen and you're just willing to make a bunch of laws, man, these young cats out here, man, especially in Chicago, they ain't trying to hear it. Number one, they don't trust you. Number two, they probably make more money than you doing what they're doing right now. It's illegal. They're willing to take that risk. They're willing to take that risk. They're taking a risk. They've been taking a risk their whole life. So what you gonna say to them, right? And I was telling this story to one of the cats in the military recently. I was like, what you gonna say to me if I'm fresh off the streets okay, you need to listen to me, do what I tell you to do. You need I want you to do this, get your CDCs, trust me, talk to me, open up to me, tell me everything, and I'm gonna help you. You gonna help me? I'm supposed to believe you just because I'm new. I'm brand new in. I did everything they told me to do in basic, did everything they told me to do in tech school, and now I'm here with you, and you telling me to trust you and open up to you, and you gonna help me when everything. And from my perspective, the police, when they come into my neighborhood and got me on the floor, pulling my pants down, they look like you. So at the end of the day, what you gonna do? I don't trust you. So you gotta come at them different, man. You can't come at these cats by, if you listen to me, you do what I said, man. Ain't nobody trying to listen to you. You dealing with a different breed. You different with a different kind of shorty. So at the end of the day, man, when we came up, our parents, were folks that grew up in the 60s, and stuff like that, were born in maybe the 50s and 60s, and they came of age around that time. Man, that was a time where folks were together and they were saying, hey, look, we know how to make, and they raised us. But man, a lot of these cats, man, their grandmamas, was growing up during the crack era.
Yeah.
Their grandmamas,
Yeah.
they got thick skin. They tough. They not playing with you. They fought. They fought in the streets. They didn't fight for civil rights. So at the end of the day, man, you dealing with a product of that, and so you can't. We dealing with multiple generations. Like even in the military, man, we dealing with 5 different generations of people, and if you just trying to connect because of what you learned during your generation, man, you gonna miss the mark every time.
Every time, every single time.
Understand these zennials and these millennials and all these, these X's and we got baby boomers. you got all kinds. If you don't understand them, man, and you ain't trying to listen and talk to these folks, man, you ain't gonna be successful as a leader. And I think leaders have to solve this problem in Chicago. Leaders, and if you're not being serious about how you're leading, who you're leading, then you ain't gonna find success, But I think these lessons, again, that we learn in the military, if leaders are taking these lessons to heart and really serious about trying to make change, man, we can definitely do it, man. But I honestly think that change, we can't wait for that change to start at the top, man. We have to find these young leaders, these young folks that have that talent. No different than when we were young, man. Somebody saw something in us and said, you got something. You got something. We want to cultivate that. We can see it in others, you know. And I think it's going to take that. It's going to take for leaders to recognize greatness in these young leaders and recognize the potential in these young future leaders and get them after it. Teach them how to do it, because they're the ones that's going to be able to spread it. They're going to listen to each other. These young A1Cs listening to each other. These young senior airmen, they listening to each other, man. We don't know what we talking about, but they gonna listen to each other. Yeah. Man,
we definitely do that. We did that. We listened to each other.
Yeah, this is all you gotta do, man. You go over there. They listening to each other left and right. And so same thing in our hoods. They listening to each other. They hanging out together. We find the leaders among those groups and teach them how to make change and how to make a difference. And it'll spread, I think. I truly believe that.
You get another Fred Hampton, you know, on a different level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you do that.
And hopefully we can keep them safe and teach them how to be safe. Because as much as what happened with Fred was a tragedy, if he had the right people teaching him how to harness that passion and that fire and teaching him how to be strategic, man, who knows what could have happened. But he was such a force that, and he just didn't care. He was like, this is what we doing. This is where we going. And of course, we can get into a whole lot of different things with COINTELPRO and J. Edgar Hoover. We can go a whole lot of different directions with this story. But at the end of the day, I wish he had like a real leader. I wish he had a Martin Luther King to pull him to the side and be able to sit down with him and talk to him. But he could remember a guy like him and Martin Luther King, man, nobody trying to hear all that.
Same thing like you just said with the game cats. You know what I'm saying? With the cats down to the young boy. They ain't want to hear that.
Nobody trying to hear that. We can figure out a way to get these old heads to connect with the young. And you can't do it by trying to force your way, man. So King wouldn't have been able to do it by trying to force Fred Hampton to sit down and listen. You might have to go to some Black Panther meetings, Mr. King. You know what I'm saying?
And go sit down, see what they else.
Trust before they willing to open up and talk to you and hear you out and hear your way. Maybe now they'll go to some Southern Leader Christianship meetings with you, you know, and be able to. But that's how we gotta be able to do it, man. We gotta be able to listen to these young cats. Hear what's on their minds. Hear them out. Let them vent. Let them get those frustrations out and tell us what's on their mind and tell us why they feel so much rage and pain, you know. And we got to be able to understand that. Stop trying to convince them why they wrong. Just listen to them and say, I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah.
Now understand.
Yeah, man. I think, you know, and you got to think Martin Luther King, they came from the South, you know. The South is different than you talking about Chi-Town, New York. Different type of police. Different type of thoughts, you know what I'm saying? They come in violent because violence is what they see, and that's how the police coming at them. And I'm not saying it wasn't that type, but it was different type of violence, a different type of mentality amongst blacks in the 60s at that point than opposed to what they were dealing with in Chicago. Them boys in Chicago like giving with, and in New York, that's why you got a Malcolm X. That's why you got, you know what I'm saying, the Black Panther Party and people in those plans. Because they were like, you bust me in my head, I bust you in your head. In the South, there wasn't that. It was too, you know, you bust somebody, the sheets coming, you dying. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't happening in Chicago and New York. You know what I'm saying?
Right, man. So, but I will say this, man. We got businesses. We got people that's graduating from school, from high school, from college. Man, we got communities, you know, where people are having block parties and getting together and doing all kinds of wonderful things, man. We got churches where you know, and mosques and places where people can get together and do their thing. We got people helping each other, you know. So absolutely, there's a lot of bad things that we can focus on, man. But there are some great things going on as well, and families, you know, doing the best that they can out there, man, trying to make ends meet and take care of their kids and make sure that their kids can end up having good lives. We got that going on as well. So all is not lost. And so this gloom and doom picture, man, that a lot of folks are trying to paint in the media, most of the people that's trying to paint the picture ain't even from there, you know. So at the end of the day, and probably has never been there, you know, and ain't trying to go there. I welcome anyone to come with me on my next trip, and I take you to the city, and I can show you great areas and things that are great things that are going on. You know, I can also take you to some of those rough areas too, and you can take the hands of folks who you probably would not even give a second thought, but you could shake their hands and they'll shake your hand and treat you with respect, right? Yeah. But if you saw them on TV or you walk past them, you probably lock your door, and you know, yeah. So at the end of the day, man, it's all about respect and just being humans and treating each other well, man. And I think we'd surprise each other if we just gave each other that chance, man.
Yeah, I think the same thing, man. I think, you know, hey, I could walk anywhere, man. I've been to Chi-Town by myself. My boy was telling me where to go. I got one of those huge heroes. He told me where to go. Man, I went there. I never seen the grass on the thing this thick. I didn't care. I walk in any hood. I walked through the hood. I had on green. I knew not to wear no hat. I didn't wear a hat. I walked through the hood. I had no problem. I've been that way hard. When I was at Goodfellow, I used to tell people I take the cab. When I was at Goodfellow, I said, "Yo, take me to the hood. Just drop me off. I want to know where Martin Luther King at. Drop me off in Martin." And I would go to Martin Luther King Park. They'd be out there barbecuing. I'd be out there, right out there chilling with them in the park.
Concerts, barbecuing, all of it, man. You can have a good time, and people will take care of you.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know you, if they don't, but just so long as you cool, man. If you're there,
I sat there chilling. He would drop me off. He said, "Just sit there for a minute, and they'll show up." That's what happened. I was at Goodfellow. I went to San Angelo. He sit here for a minute and they'll show up. You'll see. Yeah. I sat there. It happened. Every city I've been to, when I was in Panama, people like, man, how the hell you in the hood? My ex-wife, she was in a different, it was a levels of hood. She was in a different level of hood. Her hood was a more affluent level of hood than you had San Miguelito. When I used to tell her, I say, yo, I used to be in San Miguelito every day. Every day I get off work, I go to San Miguelito. I had a girlfriend over there. We in San Miguelito. She like, what? You were in San Miguelito? He killed you in San Miguelito. And I had a Cadillac. I was driving a Cadillac up there in Panama in San Miguelito. Yeah. I've always been that. You know what I'm saying? It's all about what we do in the community and how we willing to change things, how we willing to look at things. And you know what I mean? And be that guy to say, yeah, I can go out there. I'm going to go into the hood. I'm going to be different. I'm going to try to talk to these young boys. I'm going to try to foster change with these young cats. You know what I'm saying? Because they do the same thing in Miami. We separated different. We separated by Cuban, Haitian, you know what I'm saying, Jamaican, you know, white. It's the same situation. It's just different, you know what I mean? But it's somewhat the same thing. And young boys dying the same way, man. They get shot up left and right in Miami. Sprayed up, found dead in the car.
Oh yeah, I know. I heard about Miami.
Yeah, man, we rough out here, man. But it just need a leader. We need leaders. We need leaders out here. There's so much positive things going on.
That's the key,
you never see the positive.
That's the key, man. Leader. Really, not people that's worried about their political aspirations and stuff like that, man. Real leaders.
The crib. So he said, yeah, that's what they call Miami. They call Miami the crib. So when we say Miami, we don't say the house is the crib. We say the city is the crib. So you like the crib. Like
well,
right.
So in the shot, when we say we're going to the crib, man, the crib is our actual home of residence.
No, we say the crib is Miami. The little slang there. I see you doing a little bit of slang. Hey man, so I got the next I'm gonna skip 12 and 14. I think they similar. There's something that you know Kevin had asked that question or whatever, and I think that's a similar question. So I'm not gonna ask 12 and 14.
Okay.
They're similar. But I'm gonna ask 13, and then we go to 14. You know what I'm saying? And we go to the last couple. You know what I'm saying? So 13. Well, your supervisors. Cause I had one cat, Mark MRK SX. He came on and he was saying, "Hey man, my supervisors were very good with me. They let me go out and do things. And it wasn't no problem. I had the same thing. I was able to do shows and stuff, and I was in Korea." You know, they were supportive of the music. So I just want to know, were your supervisors in the military supportive of your music, or did they try to hold you back?
Nah, man. To be honest, my supervisors were very supportive, man. Just so long as my work got done, I have to say, man, my supervision didn't stand in my way, man. My work got done, they didn't trip. If I had to go to the studio or whatever, I was in the studio. If I had some shows or something we was doing, I was able to do a lot of stuff that I needed to do. But of course, that came with, hey, look, you know, when it's time to be at work, you need to be at work and do what you need to do. Yeah, for the most part, I will say the only thing I would say, man, is that there were some folks who didn't get it and probably still don't get it to this day or can't relate. You know, a lot of times, you know, what we do is a joke, right? And people just don't understand the culture, man. They don't understand the elements. They don't understand the breakdancing and the beatboxing and the graffiti and the MC and the DJing. They don't understand all that. It's not their culture, and that's cool. It's stuff, a lot of stuff I don't understand, you know, about different other cultures. You know, I'm willing to learn, but I just don't understand. You know, but man, when we took them cardboard boxes out and we laid them out and we did them knee spins and them caterpillars, you know what I'm saying, and them women, you know, can't do it. But I might be able to bust a knee spin out, you know, and potentially a caterpillar, but I can't do much more than that. But at the end of the day, man, that's what it was all about, man. It was that culture, and you don't really lose that, man. You know, I'm still very much jamming. My wife sometimes gets on me because, like, I listen to so much, you know, especially a lot of the new stuff, man, and the trap music. I'm listening, man. I'm listening
too. You know,
I wouldn't make it, bro. I wouldn't release it on the album, but I'm listening to it and I'm jamming some of it.
Yeah,
you know,
I listen to some of it too.
I mean, and it's evolving. You can say it's devolving, whatever, but it is what it is, because ultimately what it's about is these young people expressing themselves. Really, at the end of the day. But I'm very much still into a lot of the older hip hop music. I'm Black Talib Kweli, Mos Def. You know, definitely still listen to a lot of their music. You know, still listening to
Common. You got a podcast now. You might want to check out the podcast.
I gotta check it out. Yeah, I gotta check it out, man. But definitely, yes, I still listen to so much of the other music. But when I was releasing my stuff, you know, and sometimes people will hear it and it's like almost kind of like it was a joke. Like, but a lot of times folks just didn't expect you to be releasing no music. You know, it's like, oh man, this dude is this way at work, and he seems so put together, you know, well spoken. Man, I never thought that he'd do. So what I was supposed to do? What I was supposed to come to work, you know, with tattoos all up the side of my face? What you expect, man? So at the end of the day, this is who I am, you know. And so yeah, and I like music. You don't know because you didn't ask. What was I supposed to show up day one? Hey, my name is Shanton Russell. Oh, by the way, I'm a rap. You know, you want to hear some of my stuff? You know what I'm saying? You know? So at the end of the day, you didn't know. You didn't know, but now you know, and it is what it is. You know, but I some cats out here playing the guitar. I don't know, but when you hear certain folks ridicule or talk about it like it's a joke, you know. It is what it is, man. I understand. It's just that they don't understand it. They don't probably respect hip hop music or understand the culture. And so if they know that you're involved in it, it's like, oh, this guy want to be a big time rapper. It ain't about that, man. Look, George Bush, he's not gonna be known for being a famous painter, but he got a lot of paintings. But he ain't gonna be known like Picasso's known. But the dude liked to paint. But he was the president. That's what he's known for. But at the end of the day, the dude got tons of paint. He's painting dogs and houses and all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, man, that's what he does. And so you have to have that kind of an outlet, man. And I think that ties into the Air Force's pillars, man. You know, the mental, physical, social, spiritual pillars of resilience. You gotta find that thing, man, because we deal with so many stressful things on the job and being in the military from day to day. If you're not tapping into those pillars, and for me, hip hop, you know, and writing, you know, was a way for me to decompress, man. Yeah, you got some people is PT, some people is playing the guitar, some people is just going out and hiking. You know, me, you know, I can get my pad out, throw a beat on, let that instrumental go, and just boom, just start putting my thoughts down, journaling. Right?
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I wouldn't say that I was not supported, man. Maybe misunderstood a little bit, but not held back at all.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I had most people laughing at me. I had black people laughing at me, white people. They just laugh at me. I had more people laughing at me. I'd have gotten into arguments, gotten into fights and all kind of stuff. Because people thought I was, you know what I'm saying? They laugh at me to this day. I'm the hip hop chief. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I'm the same dude. I'm the hip hop chief. I was the hip hop chief when I was at the Pentagon.
Right.
I'm the hip hop chief when I walk in the fire station with
I
all
heard.
my bugles.
When I met you, that's what you was like, I'm the hip hop chief. Go look up the hip hop chief. I did when I left. I went and looked up the hip hop chief. I'm like, damn, dude got music.
I'm the
Music
hip hop chief. You know what I'm saying? I don't lie. I mean, I'm who I am. I've always been that way. And I think I wouldn't have been able to survive in the military if I hadn't had that outlet. I would,
Yeah.
you know, they were supportive of me. Hey, I won't let you go in the alarm room. So I became the NCOIC, the alarm room. Worked the alarm room several times. Why? Because I was able to go do music, and I wouldn't have been able to do half of the stuff I did when I was in Korea or Panama or any other place I was stationed at had I had not been able to have flexibility to be going to the alarm room and to do different things to help me with my, so I could be able to make music and be in the studio and do the things I did. I wouldn't have survived in the military. I wouldn't have been a chief, I don't think, had I had not had hip hop as an outlet for me to be able to say, okay, I'm finished with the fire department, because the way I don't know how you do, but when I leave out the door, when I left the gate, only time you knew I was a fireman if you saw me with my firefighter shirt on. I was out the door. You don't know nothing about firefighting when I leave that there when I left the gate. The military, I'm still in the military, but that.
Yeah, so at Goodfellow, I had that freedom, man. Like when it was time to go, it was time to go. The students are gone. They in the hands of the MTL. When we done, ghost, man. Call my boy Sid, where you at? Let's get on the road. We in Dallas, we in Houston, we gone. But man, once I got back in the fight, then as a senior NCO, yeah, it was a lot harder to do that. And then the deployments hitting, it was just harder. And I was able to write, because when you in your clues and and all of that stuff, in them tents, in them late nights, you sitting back, it's like that go to them thoughts get the going, man. That's the best time to start putting them thoughts down on paper. But you missing your baby, your boo, man, you start going. But at the end of the day, I was able to do that, at Goodfellow for the most part. But once and my mentor's words came back to me, man. It was like, you're gonna have, and it wasn't because he was telling me I was gonna have to choose one or the other. He was basically telling me the workload, man, is gonna increase so that you're not gonna be able to do a lot of different extra stuff. And I was bringing work home a lot. It was just a lot of pressure. And so I did absolutely. I had to hit the pause button, a little bit, and I don't regret it, because man, I do know that I'm making a difference, and it really the biggest difference is in the people, that you get to work with and you get to do this with. And
you got some more rhymes. You got some more. We gonna get them rhymes back out of you somewhere. I'm gonna get them rhymes out of you. I hear you. You know how I'm gonna get them. So, hey, y'all hear him talking? I got it. This hip hop chief, I got it. I'm just gonna let you know. If you don't know, every single person in the DFPN network, all former veterans, probably one or two now.
Wow.
Everybody either retired or still in the military, all coming out, all got jobs, federal jobs, all of them prior military. So you in good company here. I'm here to tell you in good company here. We ain't gonna let you. I'm sure they listening to you right now. They all sitting saying themselves the same thing I'm saying. Like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know. We all older. We all, what I'm saying? We all, it's a lot. So when this is all over, we're gonna talk some more. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk some more about some things about what's going on in the background that you might not know. You know what I'm saying? But so I said I was gonna skip number 12 and number 14 because I think that was similar to what was already asked. I think you already answered some of those questions. About what would you tell your young self and those kind of things. And I think we kind of touched on some of that. Black took my thunder. That's Kevin. That's Black. He took my thunder away, but it was a little early, but it's all right. It's all good. No. So let's go to the next, the question about marketing. So what I do is I'm starting to do this now is because when the manager I had, she said some good things. She said, what are you giving? What are you, people want you to give them something. You have to give them something for them to want to listen to what you have to say. And I'm thinking, well, if you're a military person, I'm giving you Chief Master Sergeant Russell. I'm giving you Chief Master Sergeant Wilcox, and we love hip hop. And if you're a hip hop member out there, not only are you getting life lessons, you're getting military lessons, but you're also getting hip hop lessons. You can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think this podcast is giving people. If you're not a military person, if you're not a person that's been in the military, you're not gonna understand. You're not gonna understand. He say my bad. That's Black guy. He funny. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to get it if you're not a part of the culture.
Yeah.
hip hop or in the military. So it's all good. So what I started doing, I said, okay, I'm gonna give them little artists. I call it the artist info corner. I'm gonna give them a little bit. So I'm gonna ask you, then I'm gonna interject. And I'm gonna tell you some things I done learned. You've been around for a while.
Yep.
Marketing. What do you think are some good ways to market music for new artists?
So, man, I'm gonna tell you, Talib Kweli, we was talking about him. He had an interview that he was doing. I was watching one time, and they was asking him, you know, and it was talking about going the label route or doing it yourself, right? And so, and he thought about it for a second. He was like, I would say do it yourself, bro. So then how do you do that? All right. So going from being the green guy that I was talking about back in the day that was like, hey, here's my stuff and I'm singing on the video, to buying books on the industry and how to start your own label, how to get your own, do your own publishing. Man, there's tons of material out there. Start with Amazon, and there's tons of material out there. Just find your niche. If you want to publish your own music, I highly recommend have your own publishing. I highly recommend that. But you can find information on how to do that. Don't just go sign up for ASCAP or BMI and think that that's it. You know, you don't even know.
There's a lot more to it.
Yeah, so you find out, you know, get art, whether it's read articles, do your homework, right? Do your studying. It's a business. It's art, but it's a business, especially if you're trying to get it out there and make some money off of it. So if you're not reading and studying up on your craft, you know, chances are you missing the mark. So I would say, man, it's so much easier. I got in the game where my first album I released, I started putting it together in 2005. So my gosh, man, MySpace was still like out, and it was like, right. But man, look at the tools, man, that we got now, man. So I mean, there's people making it, just putting their stuff on the ground, you know, and just putting it out there, you know. So I would say from the YouTube to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of the platforms, man, go to where the people are. And if you got something to say, man, say it. You know, if you can freestyle and you cold-blooded on the freestyle, just get on and turn the camera on and go, man. People will be watching, right? People watching, you know. But then a cat that is a capitalist might be watching as well and will say, man, I'm gonna put you out there. I'm gonna put products together for you. I'm gonna make you famous. Sign this little piece of paper right here, and I got you. If you don't understand the game, man, you don't understand the business, you don't understand publishing, they're gonna make a whole lot of money off you. You ain't gonna make nothing. You know, so at the end of the day, you gotta know the business side of it. But I would say to get out there and establish a fan base, use the platforms, use all of that stuff that exists, man. There are companies out there. I use Broadjam. I had an opportunity to have one of my songs feature on a show. It came out a few years ago called Taking the Stage. It was the show on MTV where the artists were going to school at academy and learning, you know. So one of my songs, Karma, they played a snippet of it right as they came back from commercial, and you know, you see them on the campus, they showing little clips of the campus, and like 9 seconds of my song is playing on one of MTV's shows, you know, on one of their episodes. And man, that was a highlight at the time. I'm like, whoa. You know? But I also had the opportunity to be involved with other shows. And at the end of the day, Broadjam was a platform that I used. They even used me in one of their advertisements to promote their site, you know, when they was first starting out. But it still exists to this day, broadjam.com, and it's a site where you can put your music up and you can load it, but you can also you know, apply and submit your music to different opportunities. So there's always companies, there's TV shows, commercials, all kinds of things. And even if you're not getting your songs, you know, put on, you may get, let's say, a instrumental. If you're a producer, you got an instrumental out there that you like, and you go ahead and submit that instrumental. They may like that instrumental. Go, man, we gonna put that on our next commercial, and just play a little bit of a snippet of that on our commercial. So it's a great site for that. But if you don't have your publishing right, you know, and that company comes and says we want to use that on our commercial. Now your publishing ain't right. you ain't gonna get paid. You know, so at the end of the day, that's the CD Baby is phenomenal. I got some stuff out there on CD Baby, and there's also an independent record label out there called The Orchard. And The Orchard is phenomenal place for individuals that's trying to get put on. You got a good product, and again, make sure it's a good product. Make sure that your stuff is quality, and if you got quality production and your stuff sounds good, go ahead and put it on The Orchard, man. And they'll promote your videos, they'll promote your music, and man, you can have your stuff out there on iTunes, Spotify, all of those different places, man. So I highly recommend that. Get involved with the conferences like South by Southwest and some of the other North by
AC3
ones you talking. Get involved because it is very much an industry, man. It's a huge industry, and in any industry, no different in our industry, in the military or in fire protection, man. We go to these conferences, whether it's the FDIC in Indianapolis or whether it's FRI. And when we go to these different conferences, man, we meeting all the heavy hitters, the movers and shakers, man. We networking, we passing phone numbers back and forth, you know, because there's people out here doing things, man. And then they want to know what you doing, what you got going on. So when you get to go to these conferences, man, I met Chuck D, right? He didn't put me on, but I met him. I had the opportunity to talk with him. I met Rakim as well at South by Southwest. He had just finished the show, and I got to shake his hand.
Was his hand soft and supple like a lady's hand?
Yeah, I would say I was starstruck. You know, I was in the habit, man. I gotta, when I take a picture with somebody now, man, like this, so I gotta make sure I ain't looking like.
Yeah, we didn't have that back then. I was just like, I'm with Rakim.
That I'm in the picture with people, and I'm like looking like a little punk in the picture. You know, and they looking all tough, and I'm like, I'm with him, you know. So now I gotta give my stance right, man. Now I'm in the picture like yeah, he with me. I ain't with him, he with me. so I ain't looking like no punk in the picture. But I would say, man, when you get to go to these places, man, and you meet these artists, and try not to be starstruck, man. Don't be a beggar, because no different than if somebody coming up to you, man, you got $3, you got 2 cents, you got 50 cents, you got something, man. Eventually you're like, come on, man, go head on, you know. So that's how these other artists feel, man. They just want to meet you, they want to know you. They're human beings, and so they just want to meet another human being. So when you come at them at that level, man, and then you get to talking about the music, you know, they're more willing to help you. But people want to help people that they like, and so get to like them, get to be likable, get to know them, and make sure that they get to know you. And that's how you have an opportunity to grow. Find out what it is that they involved in. When your next show, man, hey, so how you doing your merch? You need any help with that, man? I'm willing to help out, you know, help you sell some of your merch, do whatever it is you need to do with your next show. Yeah, anything you need, any way I can help, let me know. Instead of being the one that's constantly saying, hey, man, listen to my do something for me. What you willing to do? You know, you willing to put in work? You willing to go help them at their next concert, plug into them speakers? If you willing to do that, man, okay, man, all right, now I'll help you. You willing to give away some of them beats for free? You know, like Kanye West did with Rockefeller? And then eventually they end up paying for him, and then next thing you know, they sign him. Next thing you know, he on. You know, so at the end of the day, that's how you gotta. I think you have to approach this thing. Just be genuine and get out there and use these platforms that are out there, man. But ultimately, I say, like Russell Simmons once said, just make hot shit.
That's all you can do. You know what I'm saying?
It's undeniable. People gonna flock to you. You know.
Yeah. So, I would say this. I'm like, you know, I'm a little, you know, I'm about to put an album out. If you don't know, my album's gonna be 47. You know what I'm saying? 7 tracks, 47. Next track gonna be 48 tracks, 49, 9 tracks. The last one's gonna be 10. So I'm doing my little, and this is my little anthology that I'm doing here. You know, I'm giving y'all hot as I can give you. You know what I mean? So I got some bangers, everything good. But as I'm learning about, you know, different things, I will tell you that, you know, I got this excellent videos out there. What's a guy named the Brand Man? It's a cat called the Brand Man on YouTube. Go check this dude out. Okay. He gives you a lot of pointers, and his pointers are outstanding. He tells you what you can do. I think right now the best way to save yourself some money, do something, I say, like he said, platforms, Instagram, Facebook. Utilize those platforms to get your stuff out there, man. You can buy a campaign. You can get a campaign going for yourself, couple dollars campaign. You get a bunch of people watching. I did a little thing with. I tested it. I said I'm gonna see. I did a little thing where, you know, I don't know, have been watching. I had Brother Marquise. I interviewed Brother Marquise. Me and my man E. Smitty. We interviewed Brother Marquise from the 2 Live Crew. And I went and I boosted it. I said, let me see what happened. I got the most views ever off of that. You know what I'm saying? So you can boost it out there. Utilize Facebook, utilize some of this free stuff, man, to get your stuff out there and get people to follow you and listen to what you got going on. You might get 1 million, might not, you never know, but take the opportunity to market yourself, and marketability is everything, and branding yourself and who you want to be and what you want to be. Branding says everything. You want to know, ask Donald Trump. That is the king of the branders.
I heard that. That's all brand.
That's all brand. That's the king of the branders. And if anybody can teach you how to be a brander, Donald Trump 101.
That's it, man.
That's it right there. So we at the end. So I looked on here. I didn't see your music right there, but I think I see my man Black on here. So if Black is gonna punch you in and play the music for you, go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and see if you're ready for that. Cause I'm ready to make that happen. And see if you're gonna punch it in there. I think this your song Free.
Go for it.
Let's see if you're gonna play it.
I just wanna be free. Wanna be free, be free, be free. I just wanna be free.
What a word sounds so good, but such a word don't exist in my neighborhood. I wanna live like the people do in Hollywood, but when I talk about my dream, it's understood. Ain't got 'em on, but my chains take another form. I wanna chill like I'm trapped in a snowstorm on an iceberg, cause living in the shy, a lot of heat on the streets for you and I. Time flies, but my feet stay on the ground. In the middle of the forest, can you hear my sound? On the go, unknown destination, trying to find liberation. He had a wife, 2 kids, and a good job. White house, picket fence, and a front yard. Reminiscing about the days on the boulevard. Used to rap, but he got dealt another card. So he writes rhymes when he gets off. Less time with the wife, now she pissed off. Trying to juggle both, living in a circus. Had it all, yo, but didn't have purpose. Tomorrow ain't here, today's moving fast. So make a song about what you learned in the past. He had to sacrifice to be an MC. Freedom feels good, but it ain't free.
All right, so when you heard a little glitching, don't worry about that. When it's on Spotify and all that stuff, you won't get none of that.
I love it, man. Absolutely.
Hey, man, but that's that's a tight joint, man. That's a tight joint.
Thanks, man. Like, and I love what y'all did there with the city, man, in the background there, man. That was beautiful. I love it.
And so I saw it down here. I'm just gonna be all full disclosure. I saw it down here.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he had done that. I was like, what the hell is that say output? I was like, it's just a picture of a city. I didn't know that he had hooked it up like that, because usually what he'll do, he hooked you up because you're cheap.
That's the
it's just a black screen, it'll say free. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Press that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he put all of the Chicago and the background back there.
Skills, big skills.
I wasn't expecting them skills, man, but I see what's up. So on our way out, you know what I'm saying, you gotta ask, you know what I'm saying, where can we check out your music at? Where are some of your, your YouTube, your social media? Where can people come check you out, man?
Yeah, man. So look, I'm gonna tell you. So my social media sites, I had it all. I had Facebook, I had Instagram. I literally only just, because I had about 2,000 or so followers on a Rah-Sool page. I made that page public today just to put the podcast on there. And so just in case anybody wanted to see the podcast, but I had it on pause for a little while because I just haven't been able to do much with music, over the last few years. So, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I had the website, SeanRah-Sool.com. So I had to put all of that on pause. So I will say that I do have enough material for another project, and I am considering another project here in the near future, man.
Considering?
But
Look.
But I'm gonna tell you like this: a lot of the lyrics are politically charged, and so it's probably best that I hold off on that album for until the time is right. But
hey, man, politically charged. I think everything I ever put out been politically charged.
But I
made it to chief.
But I will say the music though is available. I do have Facebook accounts. I do have Instagram, but they more now just about Shantan Rah-Sool, and that's why on my Facebook you see Shantan Sean Rah-Sool Rah-Sool, because some of my friends are people that's in the industry, and then there's a lot of folks that's on the military side of the house. So it's like I've merged the two. But as you can tell, you friends with me, you don't see a whole lot about the music these days. It's really a lot about family and military. But I do have those platforms, and I will bring those platforms back.
What you can do is, I'm gonna tell you what I do. I got two different pages. So I got the Conscious Rhyme Facebook page, and I got my personal Facebook page. So whenever I'm dealing with music stuff, that's out there on that, and I just separate them.
Right, and the Sean Rah-Sool Facebook page, I do have that, but again, that's been paused. It is a separate, completely separate, but it's been paused, and so I pulled it up today. It's open right now. I'll probably leave it up for just a little bit, and then when I have more content, and when I'm ready, to be honest, man, I could probably benefit from a content manager, to be perfectly honest, man, because the music is out there. So I will say that the music is available, man. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's everywhere that you can pretty much find music. It's on Tidal, So if you Google Sean Rah-Sool, music, you'll see the different platforms.
Spell that for some people that might be phonetically challenged.
So it's SEAN is Sean, and then Rah-Sool, Rasul. So Sean, that's my name that my family called me coming up, and then Rah-Sool means messenger in Arabic. So
I know.
So that's pretty much what the name is, because I like to try to deliver some kind of message in all of the music, man. But if you go to Facebook, go to Google and Google Sean Rah-Sool, man. If you go to all of the music is on iTunes, but it's also for free out there. I got 3 albums that I released that are all on iTunes, Tidal, Amazon, Napster, Spotify. Then I got 4 singles also that are out there, and then 1 mixtape on Dat Piff. The mixtape is called Newborn. And I think I released that in like 2012. So it's a long time coming, man. It's time for me to probably put some new stuff out. But
my last album was in 2012, my man. Don't feel bad. I'm about to drop one.
I heard.
In the next month or two, I'm about to drop an album in the next month or two. Yep.
But it is still in me, and I have not stopped. It's just been on pause because, man, you know who
I am. I'm the MC Soul Snatcher. I'm about to snatch all that right back out. They're gonna be on the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? I'm the MC Snow. I'm here to get it.
Much is required these days, man. So it's just hard for me to find that balance, you know, to be able to really put my heart and soul into it. And so, but it's coming. You know, it's coming. It's coming. As soon as things settle down a little bit, and I kind of find a good battle rhythm, I'll be back. You
see what my man Black said at the bottom down there, right? Did you read it?
He said, "Nah, man, drop that right." Man, I hear you, man. Well, look, I'm gonna do my best, man. But yeah, this ain't the end. You know, it's I still, you know, but I do look at it. I try to help a lot of folks. You know, one of my partners, Jay Ross. Look him up, JAEHROSS. He's a killer. He's doing major things. He went on some tours. He toured Europe right before COVID hit. And he's a kid, man, and I call him a kid. I'm much older than him, but he's very much my brother, man. He's from San Angelo, and when we were doing the music in San Angelo, he was a youngster, man, that was just trying to get it in. Him and his boys, went up with his homeboys, Jay Young. They were trying to do some things, and so we they grabbed onto my coattails and Sid's coattails, man, and was trying to learn, and man, he's so passionate about music that he went to school, got his degrees. He's a phenomenal producer. He's a phenomenal MC. The boy has skills, and he's also doing his own video production, man. He's a force to be reckoned with, and man, I bring him up because the same thing that I do for our airmen, I've also been trying to do with some of the young cats that are out here trying to do things with music. And so I have been a quiet storm, picking up the phone. Hey, how you doing? You all right? You keeping your business together? You taking care of yourself? You taking care of family? You talk to your mom? All of that type of stuff, man. And it's several cats that's out here trying to get after it on the music side of the house. Again, everything that I do in the military for these airmen, I do because it was done for me. And the things that I try to do to help folks that are trying to deal with music, that was done for me as well. Because if it weren't for a guy like Madaku going, man, we got to help him. And just being able to get those little words of inspiration, I wouldn't be able to have that to offer to cats out there today. And being able to do this with you, talk about some of my stories and some of the challenges and some of the things that we've done well, some of the things we had to overcome. That's what it's all about, man. Each one teaching one and helping each other get through this thing, man. But I know we coming to a close, but I wanted to go ahead and just say, man, one of these days, I don't know, maybe I'll be doing my Barry Gordy thing. I don't know, and just trying to make sure I do something for some other folks and bring up the next Supremes or Temptations or something like that.
You're doing an excellent job, man. So what I'm saying, I got stuff on CD Baby too. My stuff is out there same way, you know what I mean? But I'm starting my production company. My production company is called, Fireman Production. I'm a senior logo LLC. So I told you I'm a snatcher. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing, and plus I'm probably gonna partner here with these dudes that feeling trying to get some stuff out, man. So I got a lot of stuff popping here coming up. I've been working real hard. I'm no longer in the military. I'm free to do a lot of things. I'm still a government employee. I'm still a government employee. I'm still that, but I handle my business accordingly, and I think people who know me know what I'm about, know how I roll, know what I bring to the table and what I do, man. So
I'm with you, man.
I'm telling you, man, I really thank you for taking the opportunity to come on this show. I thank you for, for just being here, man, because I knew, like I said, I'm the hip hop chief, but this is the other hip. This is me well.
Look,
this is the other hip. Don't get it twisted. This is the other hip hop chief.
I'm a hip hop chief. You the hip hop chief.
That's how
that works. That's how that works. Let's not get twisted. That you are the A. Yeah. Nah, but man, if I can, I just want to give a shout out to my wife, Courtney, man.
Of course.
And, AKA Neff Love. Courtney actually features on the cover of my track. So on the Prodigal Son album, she's actually singing on Hip Hop Love. And on my Karma album, she does a poem at the end. So I try to put my family into the music. Even on the Ghetto Child album, I even have a track called Everyday Living that I brought my aunt and my nephews and my god sister in on, and they got little voiceovers that they do.
Yeah.
So I like to have fun with it, man. But I want to give a shout out to my wife, to my kids, Chris and Breshawn. And my grandson Leo, I love y'all. I want to give a shout out to my mom, who is currently getting better from complications she suffered due to COVID, and she's been in the hospital for a little over 5 months. So she's my heart, and she's getting ready to actually start rehab on Tuesday. And my pops Tony, all my brothers and sisters, my entire family. Shout out to my brother Big Sid. We don't get to talk that much these days because he's busy. He rocking it and killing it. But love to my bro Big Sid, my homie Jay Ross, and Jay Young, G Beth, Alexis Neary, all artists I worked with in the past, man, and my crew, Player's Choice, forever. I just wanted to go ahead and say that.
So you got to get them all in. And our prayers out to your mom, man. You already know I'm checking you, I'm watching what's going on, man. So anything I can do on my end,
thank you
on my side.
And look, definitely I'd be wrong not to give a shout out to our brothers and sisters in arms, man. To everybody that wear this uniform, past and present. Salute to all of them as well. And this Memorial Day weekend, definitely don't want to forget about those that paid the ultimate sacrifice so we can do this thing we're doing, man.
No, never, man. And while you saying that, I'm gonna shout out. You know, I know my girl. She always be like, I don't never shout out, whatever. I try to keep this all about the military, whatever. But you done broke the ice. So I'm gonna come back. You know, one time, you know, Miss Kathy Parker, real estate realtor extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? She out there doing her thing, and she's making my album cover.
Yes,
I have nothing to say. She's making it. She's doing a great job. I'm watching her put my album cover together, and so she's in charge of the artist. Cover artwork. She's in it. I was gonna pay for it, but she was like, "Nah, I got this." So she's doing her thing. She sells a lot of houses. All I can do is she make a lot of money selling a lot of houses. So hey, I'm here in Virginia because she really likes what she's doing and she making it happen. I know you see what I'm saying. You see it. I ain't gotta say it. People out there who my friends, they see what she putting down.
Absolutely, bro. Man.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Man, thank you, man. I appreciate. I really enjoyed the conversation, man. I'm looking up at the time up on the top. We talking, man. That's what it's about.
What I do. I have become very good at this.
I'm like, man, we've been talking for 3 hours.
I'm very good at this. You know what I'm saying? I get people talking. They get to talking. You look at my show, they got long and long from the first episode, probably like an hour. Next thing I know, it was 2 hours. It's probably about the longest one we ever did, but it's worth it. Anybody checking out gonna love it. That's what it is, man. Hold tight after we hang up, man. You know, I think Black on here. He probably want to say something to you in the background. So just hold tight. You probably pop in here, you know, when this thing is over with, man. So, hey, it's been a long ass show, man. But it's worth it. Please watch this show. You know what I'm saying? Check out my man music. Check out what that Feeling Network's got going on. A lot of music. Hey, my man, MRKSX. My man MRKXX has an album out right now. Go look for him. Google him on all the major platforms. He out there. I listen to it. It's banging. My favorite joint is the song with him and Crooked Eye. Oh my God. I had to play that 10 times. Like this dude, you know what I'm saying? I had to go back to the lab on my album. Like I need to tweak some things, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's it, man. We salute. We out.
All right.